us with a grin, risking head and skin. If we're behind, then never mind, we'll fight and win, for we're from Tigerland. We never weak until the final siren's gone. Like the tiger of old, we're strong and we're bold, for we're from Tiger, yellow and black, we're from Tigerland. Fighting fury, we're from Tigerland. In any weather you will see us with a grin, risking head and skin. If we're behind, then never mind, we'll fight and win, for we're from Tigerland. We never weak until the final siren's gone. Like the tiger of old, we're strong and we're bold, for we're from Tiger, yellow and black, we're from Tigerland.
Well, friends. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day today. So, my friends, if you guys hear my voice and, you guys hear me that I'm tired, yes, I'm tired, because I basically stayed up an entire, like, from, 10 p.m. till the event, so, exhausted, but I'm alright. I'm not like tired, but um, I haven't like but I'm not that tired. Like I'm not yawning and stuff, so I'm okay. But if you guys didn't see the event was awesome. The Fortnite Rift Tour event, but many people were saying that the event was trash. It wasn't related to the storyline, didn't make any sense, and then people was like, you wasted 5 hours for us to watch the event, the trash can event, where you just cancelled FNCS to put this event on. So many people were furious at Epic, and Epic hasn't responded to any single thing. So Epic is, they're very good events and stuff like that, but they're just this event that they did for Ariana Grande and stuff like that wasn't very good. The first one was very good, like the start of it was okay, and then towards the end it was like, okay, it's just all about flying and stuff like that. So it didn't make any sense, and that's when many people started arguing at Epic and saying ratio stuff like that. So yeah, they were furious, and Epic will have to wait for their response. But no weighted storyline news. There's no video. That's just disappointing. And our last event will be towards the end of the season. So season ends September 12th. So if we don't have another good event, then many people are gonna start quitting Fortnite. To be honest. But it's on a down verge of people leaving and Fortnite dying because it's not a very popular game anymore, and it's been falling off the charts where it usually bees first. Now it's like fourth or fifth, and many other games are just taking over Fortnite, like Valorant, Apex, stuff like that. So that's why it wasn't a very popular game, but it's still alive, but it's dying a little bit. It's going slower by slower every day. So if Epic keeps on doing those trash events, then many people are gonna start quitting Fortnite and stuff like that. So um, you know, disappointing, but legit just wasted my whole entire night watching this event because it didn't make any sense. So no storyline. We always saw the image of freaking Kevin the Cube, possibly returning next season. That's all we have. Alright. any single event they should do is put soy wine related news. So I can make videos about it, but for this, honestly, there's no video, and I just posted the freaking full event. So if you haven't watched it, it's on my second channel, also my main. It's like at least 13 minutes. When the event was lasted, but it's just for me, I'll give this a 6 out of 10. Not very good event. So disappointing. I'm gonna learn from it, and hopefully, fingers crossed, Epic can do better events, which they did do better events last couple of seasons when they did the Galactus event. It was pretty good.
How good is that?
That is extraordinary.
Over to Brendan Gale, the CEO,
So,
and said, have you got a tracksuit? And Brendan said, well, I might be able to do better than that. This is a long-term investment. He went to the property steward and he grabbed a tracksuit and a T-shirt and anything else he could find.
In the salary cap,
and passed it over to the mob who were there and having a great time watching. So it's a great little tale. And now he gets to be a Richmond player, which is just great to see. David King, it's a big game for the Tigers, obviously, isn't it? And, well, the Kangaroos have been in good form, so they're going to be a challenge.
They've had a great couple of months, Hutto. There's no doubt about that. And I think it's on the back of what Taran Thomas has been able to do. He's been the torchbearer for this rebuild. Pick 8 way back in the Walsh, King, Rosie, Bailey Smith draft, but he's an ankle breaker. You can't lay a glove on him. He's not necessarily a tackle breaker, but he's got moves. That mid-forward role he's made his own. It's a special sort of talent. 23 disposals and 4 goals against Carlton 2 weeks ago. Didn't play last week. Comes back in fresh. But it's moves like this. He just doesn't accept what the opposition give him. He wants more. He wants to step through. He wants to step off the line and create a score. And when the opportunity's there to finish the game, he wants the ball in his hands. 190 centimetres tall and only 76 kilo. What can this guy become? It's so exciting for the North Melbourne fans.
When you look at this game today, that laid out, thank you for that, Kingy, that laid out it's pretty important in terms of just the balance of experience there. The Roos are going to have one player under 20 games. That's Eddie Ford in game number 2, plus Will Phillips as the sub. But the Tigers have got 5. So Dow, Mansell, Coleman, Jones, Rel, Smith and Rioli. That's 5 players under 20 games.
David Harvick said Arts is not getting it done. Castagna, Chol, then we're going to go to youth, and I like it. It's a big game, Hutto. A big, big occasion here.
Richmond basically can't afford to lose from here. And let's see if they can get stuck into the Kangaroos. It's round 21 from the MCG. Tigers did quite a bit right last week against Fremantle, but not enough to get the points. And the scrap is on from the middle. McDonald. Simpkins also been a key part of this Kangaroos team. There's Foster and that trademark forward handball. That's an enlarged version of it, isn't it? And it's under pressure already. They back the other way. Davies Uniac off to Goldstein and then to Anderson. He's been a welcome return in the last 3 or 4 weeks as well. Larkey, who had that breakout game 2 weeks ago with 7 goals. Daniel Rioli back as a defender now over the last 4 weeks, and he looks at home back there.
I love Daniel Rioli across half-back, Hutto. Sometimes you can go out and pay big money for a half-back flanker, or you got one right under your nose, and he looks really comfortable across the half-back line.
So Nankervis and Goldstein. And Nankervis hitting it into open country there near the line. Dow tries to keep it in.
This will be a part of the game to watch closely today. So Richmond's turnover game has been terrific. You know, it's the Richmond of old. It's their clearance work has just been horrible. Clearly the worst team in the competition around stoppages. North Melbourne, this is the strength of theirs. So if Richmond can break even today, that'll hold them in good stead in this part of the ground.
Davies Uniac couldn't get clear of Dow, but umpire says that's a legal handball to Kane Turner. And further to Anderson. Good duel with Baker. Restrained, but able to get the hands loose enough. And now Bolton, fresh from re-signing, committing to the Tigers for another couple of years. His first handball was errant. Paul put it back on North Melbourne's turn. Stevenson had good support with McDonald. And Hall getting forward, and Larkey, not normally in this situation, the one to deliver inside 50, but Zerha back in the team and back on the scoreboard.
Yeah, well done. He had a quiet game 2 weeks ago too, Gaz. Didn't play last week, but that was good signs. He weren't, you thought as if North were relying on Zerha to kick a bag, or certainly have an influential game for him to win, but is well played.
Yeah, I want to go back to that centre wing, though. When you're talking about the Richmond that we've come to know and appreciate over a long period of time, when Shea Bolton gets that ball on centre wing and he's got Cochin on his inside, he hits that handball every single time. But on this occasion, it goes to ground and the ball gets turned over in the middle of the ground. And look, this one here, that's just lazy. And Bolton's better than that. We know how sublimely skilled he is. But that's the difference. When we're judging the Richmond team in front of us today, there's the difference right there to what we've seen in years gone by. That hits that target. They're charging forward inside 50. Lynch is getting a good look. Revolt's getting a good look. And to North Melbourne's credit, they were able to make them pay on turnover.
25th goal of the season for Cam Zurhaar. Missed last week, as we know, with concussion, but back in the team today. Goldstein over the top. Sydney Stack was incredible last week across half-back. 12 intercepts, 7 intercept marks. Tries to get them going. Goldstein. Played the mark. And a quick turn back to Tarrant.
A big corridor team out of their defensive half of the ground. Always looking to come through the middle of the ground. Tigers will be well aware of that. Try and deny them the corridor.
Simpkin. 29 disposals, 7 clearances last week.
The player was very close to that person who marked it. Should have come towards him.
It's been a problem for Richmond all year, guys. Being able to defend the uncontested mark. Damien Hardwick spoke about it during the week. Probably wasn't happy with the trend of the game in general. Maybe because it's not suiting Richmond
well, I think the stand rule is a view that it's probably hurt the Tigers.
Yeah, I think the stand rule may have been brought in to combat the Tigers. Might have had a fair reason at AFL House, I think.
Ball. Curtis Taylor couldn't quite. He was surrounded by Richmond players. Rioli slipped the handball to Stack. And now Lambert. Lynch.
Almost by Lynch.
Only a goal per game over the last couple of weeks.
And pass.
4 in the last 3. Tom Lynch and the Kangaroos get the job done defensively again through Robbie Tarrant.
Underrated part of North Melbourne's game is their defence. They've actually got their experience in their defence. Tarrant's there, Mackay's coming along nicely. We know Zeeble and Turner is becoming a really good shutdown defender. Luke McDonald, as a wingman, he rolls back to support the defence. So all their experience is that part of the ground.
I guess we have to remember about North in the first half of the year. They were without a lot of soldiers, weren't they? And some of those experienced players that you talk of there. Jamont was one of them on the sidelines. And so was McDonald. So he got the handball moving. Kick just a little wayward from Davies Uniacke, and it goes over the line. Anderson was another.
Even so, though, we're talking about the 18th team in the competition here playing against Richmond at the MCG, a ground that they have owned for so long, and we're talking about them, you know, as a 50-50 concept.
Well, they haven't owned the MCG this year, have they, the Tigers? There's Bolton. His form's been a little indifferent the last couple of weeks. Good delivery. Parker kicked 2 goals. His first 2 in a Tiger jumper last week, but falls short on that entry.
Just on that, if you actually look at since the bye, the last 8 weeks of the season, you look at percentage, which is always a great indicator of how teams are going. Richmond are going at about 80%, whereas North Melbourne at 98%. So I think that's a really good indicator of where the 2 teams are at the moment.
And North haven't lost 2 weeks in a row since the bye either. It's been draw, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. 3 wins, 4 losses and a draw in total.
16 uncontested marks to 1.
Yeah.
So you get an understanding of how they want to play North Melbourne. They've been the #1 uncontested mark team, but it's just whether Richmond have got an ability to close them down or whether they're giving them a kick in the back half.
Thomas flicks it back to Tarrant. Plenty of offers through the middle. Stevenson, that's going to be 50.
They love taking that kick.
50 metres.
You can't. That's going to be the problem for Richmond today through the centre of the ground, guys. If they give the North Melbourne player 2 or 3 metres, the kicker will go for that target. And so far it's hurting them.
They have to know that, don't they?
Yeah.
They will have done their homework. The #1 team from the back half that want to come through the middle of the ground, and they've been able to find a way early, which is a good sign. It
doesn't look like it, though. The mids, the Richmond mids are prepared to be on the North mids through that centre of the ground.
Jaden Stevenson. 3 goals 2 weeks ago from 24 disposals against Carlton. He clips the post and throws his head back in disgust. 16 goals, 16 in 16 games.
Here's
coming
Boston.
Into this one.
He's back in the
Jaden
side.
Stevenson.
Just watching the North Melbourne midfielders, guys, it looked like they're covering corridor every time Richmond want to bring the ball out from their defensive half. There's an over-correction to make sure they don't get that handball game going through the corridor.
Yeah, we saw that first one, didn't we, from Vlosten that Hutto called. It's almost like he was forcing Richmond to get this game back, but it wasn't anywhere near dangerous or creative as it has been in recent years.
The scores so far have come from the Kangaroos. Just a solitary goal. And they're going to get another opportunity off the boot of Anderson. Larkey calls for it long. Thomas. Just dropped it a little short. That's the lead up to it. Larkey couldn't quite get to a position where it was dangerous. Instead, it's Prestia sending it back out. But for how long? Bolton,
good job by Bolton.
just enthusiastic, diving with his tackle. Thomas saw his way through. The build-up from Hall, not ideal for Goldstein. Had time and space on his side, though. And clever kick from Simpkin. Drops it short, and Larkey will get a good early look.
Can't do much about that. So he can be forgiven, Asprey, for dropping off slightly. But what about the kicking skills so far on display from North Melbourne? Going at 79%. 22 uncontested marks to 1 this stage of the game in favour of North.
So Nick Larkey, 36 goals, 11 for the season. He's a very reliable kick for goal, and he's delivered the second for the Roos. And this is a nightmare start for the Tigers.
I support
Have not hit the scoreboard through 9 minutes.
To be honest.
Well, the Tigers can't get their hands on the footy. That's the other thing. 51 possessions North Melbourne have had to 23. 34 kicks to 8. 22 uncontested marks to 1. But here's the MO. Look at this. As soon as they win the footy back on centre wing, they're looking to the middle of the ground. They come back inside. They had two or three North Melbourne players unmanned in the middle of the ground there. So this is Richmond have been lax in trying to cover that off, and they haven't been anywhere near committed to try and win a footy back from once they get possession. North Melbourne, that plays out in this uncontested mark tally. That's just a bit ridiculous at the moment.
There it is, guys. Last 5 weeks, the uncontested marks, they're number 2 in the competition. So if you actually look at the difference between the two teams in the last month of football, so they're averaging 104. Richmond are only averaging 68.
Goldstein took full advantage of the wonky bounce. Thomas is moving, and he always knew that he had the run of Simpkin on the inside.
And, well, again, what we've known of this Richmond defence at their best is that they intercept mark beautifully. They read where the player with the ball is going to be kicking. Those last 2 kicks are what you have to do and what haven't been done. They just kick to the unpredictable space here. They've been pulled to the left on both occasions. Richmond defenders down the line trying to set up. Easy hit up.
Just 2 goals for in 19 games. He plays a big part in a lot of their scores, but not too much comes off his own boot. And that leaks away to the right, through for a behind.
I think it's twofold, Gary. When you look at what North Melbourne are doing defensively, staying in the corridor, staying in that centre square, literally always aggressive, always ready if on turnover they can be utilised and used. It's incredibly aggressive.
Revolt spoiled it down. That was good play because it allowed Edwards and Cochin to get involved. Now Graham thumps it forward. Parker had a slight bit of separation, but that had disappeared by the time the ball arrived. Walker does the job defensively for North.
We can't downplay North Melbourne's kicking skills so far as well. Like 2 of those kicks across the body, that's the hardest kick in football. They've been able to nail going inside 50. So the connection's been good so far.
Jai Simpkin up to 6 disposals already. Goldstein against Coleman Jones. This time, Dow to the outside. Bolton couldn't handle it again. He had a lot of Kangaroos for company. Taylor's kick disrupted. Cochin, who was back to close to his best last week. Bolton delayed the handball, but when he looked up, all he really saw was big guys. Dow came through and got it away. He missed the mark too. Short. Graham. Baker from a difficult position did well to compete. Morris Rioli Jr. Just great to call his name. Couldn't get hold of the footy though, and the Kangaroos can get set again off half back. Although that wasn't ideal for Walker. Graham delayed it for Baker. Assessment over, and Lambert ran to the right spot. It must have barely been the required.
Shocker from Walker. Lucky to hit his boot. Slewed sideways, so a switch off there. Bad mistake there by the North Melbourne defence. That has switched off, and I think Josh Walker was thinking about that bad kicking error he made. Richmond were able to exploit that opportunity. Big kick now for Parker to try and settle the nerves of the Tigers who just can't get their game going early.
2 goals, 2 last work. His first goal since 2019. And he kicked 16 goals from 17 games for the Saints. So he's a regular goal kicker then. His 4th game for the Tigers since his career resurrected mid-season. Leaves it to the right. They are on the scoreboard though.
You just get a little reminder every now and again why North Melbourne are 18th on the ladder, as you see those sorts of mistakes, and that's what they've got to eradicate from their game if they want to consistently climb up.
Morris Rioli Jr. was charging off the mark there to put the pressure on Hall. They've turned it over, and Cochin delivers beautifully for Bolton, who's having a look.
Look around, yeah, he wants to run off.
Yeah, there it is. We've seen this play so many times. Short, he had to just contort the body a bit and doesn't quite get as much length on the kick as he would have liked.
It was a strange one because he ran to his left initially and then had to come back inside to get back onto his right. So a little unusual, that one.
I thought it was good awareness from the man on the mark there. He realised Short was lurking.
Well, surely it's on the scout report for every team that plays Richmond by now.
Mark my Grimes.
And suddenly they are starting to pepper the inside 50s a little more. Just a little bit too far out here, Dow. Late inclusion today for Camden McIntosh. Didn't quite come up, returning from that hamstring injury. Mansell plays it short for Baker.
Got 16 defenders in the defensive 50, the Kangaroos. They shouldn't have a hit up forward here.
High to the square. Bolton versus Goldstein. He got a piece of it. Ultimately, it's out.
Very signed during the week.
Yeah.
Shea Bolton, good sign.
Huge plus for the Tigers. Yep. But his form has just tapered a little over the last month or so. Back into play with Goldstein versus Lynch. Dow thought about it. Gives to Bolton eventually. Right up against the line with a curling back kick for Parker. Lynch. Advantage. McDonald came to a halt for a moment, and then Zurhaar gave him something. As it injured North Melbourne player.
Jack Grewal caused some damage. Josh skittled the 10 pins. Got Josh Walker there.
Ball to Simpkin. And then McDonald. Here they go again into the short kicking game. Back through the middle. That's an aggressive line to take, but it pays dividends. Demont servicing Stevenson, probably a step too many, as he just wasn't sure where to head next. Instead, it's Short, putting Richmond on their way. Graham posting up and then switching to the outside. Baker, one of 4 Tigers now to have played every game this year, with Castagna nominally the 5th, but he is the sub today.
It's great coverage behind the footy by North Melbourne defenders, working well together.
Yeah, they've slowed this down, haven't they? Baker placing it wide for Flostone. Certainly a welcome return back for his 10th game for the season. Going to be his lowest tally in a year. Now they go to Rioli.
Move it on, play on.
Just a set-up kick in hope more than anything. Breeze look well stopped. Tom Campbell left it there for Graham, who might have seized. Well, he did seize the opportunity to win the ball, but it stays alive on the kick. Parker.
Back kick.
Taron Thomas. Now Davies Union.
See if the Tigers can tighten up here and just put some pressure and try and get them to kick down the line a little bit. That'll be a win in itself.
Ford came from 3 deep.
That's the first time they've really been forced to go down the line. So that's a little win. It's a little adjustment we've seen, I reckon, the last three or 4 minutes. They've won more of the footy, so they've been able to control what's been done with the ball. But it's a bit of a win there for Richmond.
Josh Walker going downstairs for some medical treatment after that big clash with Jack Grewal.
Curtis played at his feet, but you saw Anderson swooping on it now. Stevenson, just too much depth on that kick.
It's a real poor kick. He gets flossed and read it beautifully. He just kept backing off. The more Stevenson ran, the more he kept going defensive side and ended up kicking it down his throat.
Rioli beckoning a teammate to give him something. Eventually one obliged, and that was Jack Graham. He has been one of the consistent performers this year, Graham. Playing the most games in his career in a season. Baker, short again. He finds Stack. Once more we find uncertainty written all over the face of the Tigers, because they're contemplating a kick in with so many Kangaroos back. And Tarrant takes another mark.
Yeah, we saw this last week against Geelong. North Melbourne were very hard to move the ball against. They have been of recent times, so it's been difficult. Normally the Tigers can move the ball quicker than what they have been today from defensive 50. Good work by North.
Larkey did enough. Anderson, Ford has to deal with Flostone, an inexperienced youngster in his second game of AFL footy. He played the first one as the sub, where he saw no action. The kick goes to centre half forward. No whistle there. Hall, once it hits the ground. Good aggression from Prestia. And the Tigers win it back. Cochin. Oh. He didn't have the awareness that Zeeble was coming in for the crunch, and crunch he did. Cochin gets up, but the footy has disappeared. Dumont and the Kangaroos are on their way. Thomas wreaking havoc, and the path is ahead. Goldstein really pushing here, testing the Tigers' defence. Does he take it on? He's got Larkey in the square. It came off the instep.
See, he just did everything right there. Got right at the right time. Had to give that some depth and some height. Floston again holding up in the back half for Richmond.
Stack as Grimes came to give him the run from behind. He has given his teammate no chance whatsoever there, Nankervis. And eventually the Kangaroos prevail. Well, it was an untidy handball back for Davies Uniacke. And so they are on the retreat. Hall looks to go forward and go wide and deliver for Campbell.
The Goldstein long with Asprey.
Yep. And Larkey versus Vostone. He goes for the key forward and hits him. He wasn't far off. Thomas has been devastating so far. Slipped the handball to Taylor. Couldn't find the next step. And Lambert digs in for Richmond. And Curvis. Revolt and Cochin both there.
Yeah, so Goldie's been able to push forward.
4 minutes
He's
to
not
go.
playing in the ruck, actually. Campbell's come on the ground now.
Stack to the outside. Ford couldn't get a hand in. Ralph Smith. Oh, it's a free kick.
See, they've got some players offside here.
Wow. Short pass to Anderson.
Got some space ahead of the ball now. Got one-on-ones ahead of the footy here.
And Marnie had his choice. He was spoiled for choice, really.
Well, the minute that free kick was called for a block, then Richmond had players that had run offside, which is okay. But when you look back goal side, it was one-on-one, and there was just space to be run into. So you called it beautifully. Hutto had the choice of Scott. He had, I think, Larkey was in space as well. So they're going to take advantage of this, North Melbourne. They've had some really good looks going forward. It's going to make it pay.
Bailey Scott, 6 goals, 5 from his 14 games this year. He's flirting with that post, but it goes the right side of it, and the Kangaroos have got 3 on the board. And the Tigers yet to register a major. Yeah. They're teetering early here, Richmond.
Absolutely. I like the option that Marnie took. He went for the more central option there. It was brave. He could have gone for the easy one, Larkey, but then it would have been a tough shot from out on the boundary. Again, as you say, Gaz, we all thought that this was a Richmond free kick, but it went against them. The Richmond teammates, they took off on the other side of the ground, and then Marnie was just able to ease his way down the open side. And have a look at this kick. So Larkey's the easy one on the left. Yeah. Good effort there.
Now, Richmond, after round 14, they've kicked 2 goals against St Kilda. They kicked 10 against the Gold Coast, 11 Collingwood. They kicked 8 against Geelong, 6 against Freo. They've had 5 losses that average 53 points. Their ability to score has just dried up, and you look at it and you go, well, Lynch and Revolt's still playing inside 50. It's just an issue, and here we are, 22 minutes in, goalless again.
Kingy, you got some news on Josh Walker?
Getting a concussion assessment at the moment, so he'll be out of the game for probably another 12 to 15 minutes.
Thank you, Kingy. Ball out of the middle. Towards the wing, but Simpkin got there first. Uses Jamont. Access. All errors at the moment. Leading up nicely to take it is Ford.
He can't back it. The kicking's been impressive today, Hello. Has been until that point.
Couldn't quite get the next part right. So Prestia, who was a welcome inclusion back in the team last week. 31 disposals, 10 of them contested. Coleman Jones. Ford. Simpkin. Davies Uniacke was holding his opponent, but he had 2 Tigers to contend with. Short as they try and slip into their regular mode off halfback. Lambert found a bit of room for Baker. Oh, hasn't quite got the weighting on.
That's a bad
by
kick.
Turner. He had Rioli covered. He was just summing it up.
Richmond's
and as soon as the
still
ball
going
went
with
the
bad
boot, he left
kicks.
Rioli
They've been training a
and
lot.
intercepted.
Does he really
Past
embrace this
couple
new
days.
role, Gaz?
Yeah, love it.
Kane Turner's been terrific as that smaller shutdown type defender.
There's Rioli with a chance to apply the pressure, and he's just about got him. That's what he has been able to deliver. I think the expectations still got so much to learn, but show those desperation skills and pressure skills at VFL level. Ford with his chance. Stripped of it immediately. Play on for Stevenson, who ekes out of behind.
This looks laboured for the Tigers out of their back half. I mean, they've marked on the marks from opposition at the moment. Vlosten's taken 3. But yet there's not that bounce that we've come to expect, which is a credit to North Melbourne behind the footy.
Flostone plays it to Prestia. It's the handball game, but each time they handball, you feel like North aren't too far away from where it's going next. Prestia gets a clean kick. Lynch from behind that time on Mackay.
Just to endorse your point, Gary, that's the 17th time that Richmond have counterpunched from defensive 50 or defensive half back and haven't got the ball inside 50, haven't scored.
Yeah, and that might answer the question, Kiggy. Well, they've kicking 2 goals in a game. Well, they kicked a goal and a half a couple of weeks ago. The Revolt and Lynch just aren't getting the looks that they had.
Davies Uniacke with the release handball, hauls on the march and looking menacing again, the Kangaroos. Stevenson one out with Flostone, he got help. And the ball goes through for another behind.
It's Richmond, for every team.
Yeah, it is. Hall's been terrific for them. He's been a big part of their improvement in their ball movement. North Melbourne, they've been braver. They start to get kicks into the corridor now, but he's been a big part of that.
Not far away from Jamont, intercepting another one. And North have got numbers around the Sharon again. McDonald swooping in. Jamont back for Goldstein. He has a good look at what's ahead. Play on. Campbell makes a move.
Nice by Stevenson.
And then he dropped the put just outside the 50. That was interesting disposal from Marnie. Anderson puts it up high. Difficult ball for Zerha. Tigers were ready, sweating and waiting. Baker. Ralph Smith just has to pump the brakes.
I'd love him to keep going there. Get it to Rewalt one-on-one inside 50.
Reinforcements arrive from behind. Graham, who is a beautiful deliverer of the ball at his best, but Rewalt again had to contend with 2. Now Simpkin fends off a couple. Dumont, look at that for energy and determination from the youngster. Ralph Smith puts it on the chest of Rewalt.
Got there in the end. Yeah, good effort to follow that up. It's reluctant to go for the first time when Rewalt was one out with Tarrant.
50 or
he didn't go there, he waited. And then when they eventually did go there, Hall was able to get over and chop it off.
41 goals, 21 in his 16 games against North Melbourne. Of course, just a couple of weeks ago, kicked 6 goals, 2 in his 300th game. Jack Rewalt, 45 goals, 28 for the season. Tigers need one.
That's
unfortunately,
a very bad
he
kick.
can't deliver.
You see, Jack Rewalt, if you guys saw his kicking when he scored it, he kicked it on his
struggling to
left
find
side.
answers at the moment,
He
Damien
kicked
Hardwick.
it, straight.
North Melbourne are just playing at a tempo, Hutto, and
Because
Richmond
you
just struggling to get the
towards his
footy
left.
back, and their back half is it's all tentative. There's some different names down there, some different faces.
So the siren sounds.
Siren sounds.
1 quarter in, and the Tigers have got some big issues. North Melbourne's strong form in the second half of the year continues. They're out to a 19-point lead.
Okay. Quarter time. So North Melbourne winning by 19 points. So it's going to wait for the second quarter. When does the second quarter start? Four minutes. You go for Richmond? Well, yeah, normally my main team, but like I support every team though. So like I support every team, but like mainly for Richmond, but like I support every team, like North Melbourne, Suns, stuff like that. Alright, how long do we have until second quarter? Got about 2 minutes. Let me check my friend's live right now. Let me see. Yeah, mainly, but support every team though. What the? Never mind. You chip Richmond by 10. I got at least a minute and 17 seconds. Minute and 17 seconds. Okay.
In the absolute corridor of the MCG, and all scores from the Kangaroos have come from that. 3 goals for, 8 of those inside 50. So for me, if Richmond can't find the answer here in terms of shutting down this sort of ball here, now it's risky. They could pick that off and could go forward and score, but the Kangaroos are prepared to bite that off. It's a big challenge. Who wins the corridor clash?
And the way they go forward as well. I love those 2 inside 50 kicks. One was resulted in a goal. Just go off the square. Don't play on train tracks. Come inside. You could see Nankervis down the line setting up for something a bit longer. Yep. Loved it. So
I like that I haven't been spooked from last week either, Gas. With Geelong defended the corridor really well in North Melbourne, but today they've come out and I reckon David Noble really encouraged them to keep following that game style, get it back into the corridor. We don't often see Richmond concede 16 inside 50s in a quarter, do we? No.
Trent Cotchin, 32 touches last week, 6 in the opening term. We're into the second. And again, it's North Melbourne out of the middle.
Fourth centre bounce clearance to Jai Simpkin.
I was just going to say, Jai Simpkin's got so much of it started, hasn't he? Stevenson flicks the hand pass. Cochin knew that he had to release it quickly, and he had support in Lambert, who waited until Short got to the right spot to get it back. Revolt and Tarrant had slipped over ahead of the play. Richmond are able to keep some flow going. Is that a free kick to Coleman Jones? He's fouled.
It's a bad one. It was a bad one too, because Turner, he had, when we look at the replay, you just see all the support that he had. So he only had to try and keep body contact on him there, and he had numbers supporting him as well, front and back.
Bad mistake by Aaron Hall. Drop mark out on the flank.
So Coleman Jones, 5 games for 8 goals, 3 this season.
Kick around the corner.
Kicked 4 against the Crows in his first game for the season, and 2nd overall. And then 2 and 2 before he just struggled a little. Richmond needed something, and a big fella has delivered.
He has delivered. Is it an unorthodox kicking style, Gaz, or is it the new age kicking? Is this the orthodox kicking style?
Not in this day and age. You go back and kick a drop punt, you're Leroying.
That's right, yes.
They've elected to go with him over Mario Chol, who was only a couple of weeks ago was looking like he was going to fill a key forward spot. So just trying to work it out, still trying to find out their right mix. And we know he's got talent, this bloke. He's got an enormous amount of talent. So, of course, they want to play finals. And if they do, there's 17 other clubs that would get really nervous. But they've also got to have an eye to what's going to happen beyond this year. And they'll be working out what's the best way forward with both he and Nankervis and Chol in the lineup. He gets the chance today, and he's making the most of it there.
Yeah, he's a talent. He's starting out of the goal square right now.
Let's keep an eye on Simpkin here. He's got a mortgage on these centre bounce clearances.
5-zip, the Kangaroos.
Tom Lynch on the bench for the moment. Davies Uniac extracted at that time, and they go back through Thomas. And then Hall streaming off half back. He targeted Goldstein, who competed. Stevenson, they were coming from both angles. He got through it pretty well. Simpkin with a softish touch for Taylor. Asprey right in his face. And Larkey, one more handball, has made it a little bit awkward. And Curvis throws his body around.
They nearly got one. Notice Todd Goldstein, after a centre bounce clearance, he runs forward. Been watching the last few weeks, so he goes forward straight away. They nearly hit him with that kick about 70 metres out from goal. And Curvis needs to watch that.
Zerha with a surge.
No matter which way it goes, he sneaks forward.
Taylor, look at the Richmond jumpers around him. Sheer weight of numbers. Edwards.
Which means it's a challenge coming out, Hutto.
Exactly right, although he somehow found Bolton. Misjudgment there from Turner. And Bolton able to send Rioli on a path along the wing. Oh, Aaron hand pass.
No, hand pass.
And that changes everything, because you'd think they'd be out of kilter from there. Through the middle. Simpkin buys some time before taking the kick right across the goal to Ford.
That's the free.
The only challenge for them sometimes, the Kangaroos, is they've got players on there. Uncontested marking is great, but if they're ahead of the ball, kick it to them.
Davies Uniac too long on the kick for Larkey. And Grimes doing what he does so often. He only had the 4 intercepts last week, so well below his normal number. Flostone keeps it short for Cochin.
Stand. Play on.
Now Manson. Lambert and Cochin kept on coming. Off the left. Gave Parker no hope.
Trying to get something going, Trent. He's trying to get some run out of that back half, but the Kangaroos have got it covered everywhere.
Thomas, Jamont, Simpkin, Taylor. This is going to have to be tough. No chance, really. Grimes. And even that was far from perfect. Good little early move there from Turner.
That's...
Yeah, a couple of turnover kicks there from both teams that you just look at and go, how does that happen?
Turner set to play his 100th game next week. It's been quite a journey for him with injury. Jack Zeeble. The skipper. Well, Campbell gets clouded by Flostone.
It was a great courage from Campbell, because he pulled the kick Zeeble into a hole that was always going to make him run into some sort of a dangerous area, and then Vlosten here, yeah, well, that's as clean a free kick or clear as free kick as you're likely to see. Great courage from the big fella.
Yeah, that's going to
bide his
AFL
time to get back in the team. This is his 9th game for the year. Can't get enough of that, as you can see. Forward from the side, Larkey from the front. Oh, they won't be happy when they say that, I don't think, the Richmond defenders. There wasn't as much competition as you would have imagined for Nick Larkey.
Probably wasn't a deliberate ploy by Campbell to drop it there, but it actually worked out to be a perfect spot. 15 metres out from goal, so difficult for the defenders to punch it through, and it allowed Larkey to be able to jump at the football. He's coming along beautifully. Nick Larkey is a key forward.
2 goals last week against the Cats. After that, 7 against Carlton. It's touched.
Oh. I did see this last week. It was touched
on the way into him.
Yeah, and Himmelberg. Oh no, Toby Green, was it? A critical kick for goal late in the game last week, touched by the man on the mark.
Yep. I think it's a basic error to make, isn't it?
Unforgivable error for a team who've got Richmond just on the back foot here.
Lambert to revolt.
Interesting, guys, that they're continuing with the Dustin Martin role. It's Shea Bolton that's playing that role, and as soon as the centre bounce contest is over, Kane Turner is going and blanketing him forward of centre. So interesting that Turner's got the big job again today, as he's had most of the year.
Yeah, he's been good. How early in the year did it happen, King? Has it been all year?
Has it been all year? Back half of the year, more particularly, Brownie.
Larkey almost snaffled another one, but the free kick was paid to Nan Curtis. Yes, I know they weren't in great form before they lost Dustin Martin, but he's a hard man to replace.
Yeah, and just confidence and just a touch of brilliance. Right now they can't get it over halfway here. Now they should.
Turning it over again. Bolton tries to hit Rioli, but Bonner knew it was coming. Linked up well with Jamont. And then Davies Uniacke has to go back through Bonner. Takes it again. Onto that left. He rolled, and beautiful delivery. Ford takes the mark.
Last couple of times inside, I know there was a free kick that Larkey was turned over, but they've taken 2 marks on this Richmond defence on pretty slow play here.
He's ready to go again. He's in amongst 4.
Jeez.
Well, what we're witnessing here is what we never witnessed when the Richmond were at their best. And maybe we just got to stop talking about Richmond in the past and start dealing with the present, because what we've seen the last 3 inside 50s, and look at how many players are around here. Look at the number of Richmond defenders around Nick Larkey, and they did not get a fingernail on it.
Last time we saw this was the 2018 prelim final. Mason Cox got a hold of about 5 of them.
So Larkey,
geez,
1 goal, 2.
Yeah.
And they have not capitalised on absolute dominance.
But this is why they're 18th Hutto, and that's not being disrespectful. I think they're going absolutely where they need to do. David Noble's doing a great job, but it's just this ability to be a bit more clinical in their finishing in this forward half of the ground, because they have been all over Richmond from the opening bounce.
Well, Nick Larkey's normally a beautiful kick for goal, so he'll be very disappointed in himself.
He's kicked 15 goals, 3 the last month of football. Yeah. Number 1 in the competition, Nick Larkey, for goals, 15-3.
Yeah, normally he kicked 7-1 against Carlton, I think 2 weeks ago. Fantastic display. His growth has been outstanding since the bye.
Goldstein gets onto that. Zerha restrained immediately by Prestia, and the tackle was rewarded. Shake of the head from Cam Zerha. So the margin is just 15 points, despite the fact that the game being played exclusively left of screen at the moment.
7 inside 50s to 1, Hutto, in this second quarter.
Ralph Smith. Through Graham and then Baker. Found his left in the end. Revolt got Bonner where he wanted and then lost his footing himself. McDonald, Zeeble. Puts Walker in a tight spot. Barely got a handball. Now the Tigers can generate some forward momentum. Left boot Graham this time. Oh, Bolton was up.
Free kick. King, I've been really impressed with North's defence the last few weeks. It's the experienced part of the ground, but their cohesion has been terrific.
It has, and they've been under a little bit of pressure, Brownie, to be fair, because the Kangaroos' pressure upfield hasn't been the best. So I think since Robbie Tarrant's found some form, they have as a group.
Curvis, a hopeful handball more than anything. Anderson took a step too many and will be penalised for it.
Well, that's better.
He gets him released.
That's what Richmond people want to see, is some of this forward half pressure to try and get some field position. They just haven't been able to get a repeat entry, haven't been able to keep it in their half long enough to...
Graham, a searing pass to Dow.
To create things like that.
At least it's up.
So this would hurt. This would really hurt the Kangaroos. So second quarter here now. This is just the repeat inside 50, but they've been inside once. They'd kick the goal. They kick another one here. It just it's been a wasted 5 minutes for North.
Hasn't kicked an AFL goal. His third game of the season. One of those was as a sub. Thompson Dow gives it everything.
Oh,
saw the result. They're getting angry.
Yes.
Frustration in both coaches' boxes for different reasons. 14-point margin. Evil comes the members' side. Ford.
It's an interesting kick out. The small man 3 on 2.
Yeah, paid to Stack, who was the man in front, as you heard.
Tom Lynch yet to touch the footy again, boys. So it's been a tough month of footy for the big key forward.
Hasn't had a lot of service, has he?
It's a free kick against Shea Bolton, against way down in the forward pocket. He grabbed Kane Turner and flung him to the ground.
And 50.
And 50.
25 out straight in front. So picked him up, threw him to the ground. Turner jumps back up and then pushes him back down again. So free kick and 50.
It's a big win for the tagger, Gary, isn't it?
Well, it just says that he's inside his head, Kingy. We know that. We've all seen it. So
50 metres
I reckon that
against
Kane Turner's
Shai,
gonna,
Bolton.
and now Bolton comes to the bench. So it's a little message in all of that.
And Zerha to punish them fully. He has. Slips it
I
through
want
for
to
the
see
Kangaroos
the
ball.
reason why it
And
was
it's back
50.
to 20 points.
Of course, the dumbest thing, I think.
Well, they deserve to
for,
go because
Bolton.
they've been dominant in this quarter.
Let's see.
That 8-2, the inside 50 count. So just to watch the bottom left. So this against Bolton.
Oh my God! Yeah, that's
off the ball turn for
why?
just flings him off to the side. 50 metres. It's a free kick where the ball is at the time, and then he gives away the 50. That's why it ends up 25 metres out from goal in Zerha's hands.
Yeah, and straight away, Damien Harvick takes Bolton to the bench. So good coaching. Haven't been able to have a chat with him, but it's a disappointing result.
They are a
Toss,
shell of a team.
toss.
Even
Like,
at their
can't
best,
believe-
they were prone to the odd.
That's a
away
50
when
metre.
they
Here's
went
the
through a
reason
period
why
where
is
that
because
happened.
Bolton
I wanted
got
to Brownie, tell me
frustrated
about
because
Tom Lynch. And
Kangaroo
this
player
was
was
watched a
pushing
couple of times where he's gone
bumping him.
long periods of the game
Then
without touching the
Bolton,
footy.
like,
Now
slammed
that
him
can
to
be
the ground
not
or
all his
something.
fault, but do you try
On
and
the ground.
redeploy him,
Well, you've
try
got
and
to
get him
get up.
somewhere
You've got to get
else?
up the field. You'd be
Very
tempted to
upset,
put him
and
in the
then
ruck.
I
Now
think
Coleman
Lynch
Jones
was,
is
like,
there, but he needs to
telling him
get
to stop,
upfield,
and then-
try and work his way into the game. At least
Then turned
I
to
haven't
worse
seen him in
when
many
they
contests
divided at
today,
50.
Gas. That's the
Campbell
problem.
To Curtis Taylor. Lucky looming again. It took 2 Tigers to spoil him. They did it with good effect. Edwards as they try and slip into some sort of run. Graham's playing a bit of a lone hand for Richmond at the moment. 13 disposals so far. That's a bit more systematic. Ralph Smith to Dow. He's been okay. Rioli buzzing around deep. Waiting down.
Wanted to work into, so on that occasion you can understand why.
Zeeb was smart enough, though. He most likely knew that the ball wasn't going to go to Rioli. He erred towards Lynch.
Stevenson to Walker, to Hall, to Taylor. So far, so good for North as they head forward. Larky's run back to the goal square. So can they find the link? It might be Hall himself who delivers. It's going to fall a bit short, but Zerha cuts in from the side and takes the mark, and they continue to cut holes in the Tigers.
Yeah, the future's bright with Zerha and Larky combination. He's not the biggest key forward. He plays like a key forward, though. He's got a bit of the Jordan de Goey's about him. When he does go forward, maybe a Jake Stringer as well.
Aaron Hall is doing as he pleases across half-back. He's the #1 score-involving player from defensive half over the last 5 weeks in the competition.
It's a great story, really, of resurrection of his career, isn't he? As Zerha again delivers for the Kangaroos when others couldn't. 2 in a row
That's
for
26 points.
And the Kangaroos' lead expands to 26 points.
Yeah, after the first 7 weeks of the season, Gaz, when he only had 1 goal, he's been one of the best forwards of the comp.
There's Lynch. There's a space out to the left that he wants to get you, and you see Rioli just come and take that space. He's had no other option to go to the top of the square, so they just stopped working for each other in the end. And Aaron Hall, again, this is a side now, their forward half are sort of starting to wonder how they're going to get a kick and where they can go, and they forget about some of the other responsibilities, which is a running halfback like Aaron Hall.
We don't want to downplay North Melbourne's performance today, but Richmond are a shell of a team. I cannot believe the drop-off. I've been part of a team that had a big drop-off back in the mid-2000s, but the Richmond team had a lot better age demographic. It's been incredible just seeing them here today. They just cannot get any part of their game going whatsoever. It's been like this for a few weeks.
Well, they still have time. That's about the only thing they can hang on to in this game. Kangaroos again edging it forward. Taylor had access to the footy. Stack couldn't get hold of him immediately, but he had good support around, and eventually they do win the free kick through Coleman Jones. Off to Rioli, carefully plays it wide, then Aspring. Lynch holding his ground, about kicking a bit further down the line. So Baker leaves it to Stack to take the kick into the 50. Lynch had to double back, and then Parker forced to turn defender.
And, well, Parker hasn't played a lot of footy with this group, so he's in there. Rioli hasn't played, obviously, before with this group, so it's understanding each other, understanding where the space is, where the big boys want to be able to lead, and I think they're all just trying to work it out at the moment. They're not quite on the same page.
They're on the move. Campbell the tap. Good follow-up from Lynch. Dow curls it back, and Rioli couldn't get a look in there. Zeeble. Been a great move, hasn't it, really? Jack Zeeble back redeployed as a defender. They tried him forward a couple of years ago. That didn't really work.
And he rarely wastes the football as well.
Yep.
So he does intercept mark. We know he's brave. When he gets the football, he's a beautiful kick and does not waste it.
And he's been able to do, since Tarrant's come back, which has stabilised the defence, he's been able to be a bit more damaging with the footy.
Yeah, well, this is a good matchup he's got now with the young debutant, because he's taken a few liberties and playing in the hole in front of the big forwards.
Walk along down the line.
Really impressive, the Kangas.
Sorry, Gary, just having a look at Aaron Hall. He's 460 metres gained already. He averages about 650 per game this season. At what point does a forward have to become responsible to tag him?
Yeah, well, that's where they're at, though, isn't it? I mean, we're just watching this passage of play now, and Bolton just left him. Just took off and left him. He's going to get it again.
He does. He delivers it back to Anderson, who played a couple of parts in that. It was touched, so it's up for grabs. Marnie was desperate. Dumont saw a little hole. He got through, not unscathed, but he got through with a handball. Goldstein eyes in the back of his head. Larkey took his chance. Well done, Frostone against the tide. Edwards some composure. Mansell tosses it up, makes it awfully tough for Dow. And Bonner does what he needed to do.
Again, North Melbourne.
Deliberate.
Whip.
Sorry, Brandon.
Yeah, again, a North Melbourne defender just on their toes, ready to intercept mark.
That's an incredibly unlucky free kick.
Yeah.
Zeeble does enough.
Again. Just left his man to help out.
How easy is that?
Simpkin, they were running both sides for the handballer. Davies Uniacke stepped over, but into Curtis Taylor. Now Anderson, Rioli Jr. about to get a possession, and Big Mank got in his road. And it goes back North Melbourne's way again as Goldstein takes the mark. He had an offer from Hall. Stevenson's moving laterally. There's a bit of an odd lead into the space. Goldstein wanted something better. He might have to take the short in the end, which he does to Marnie. Watch out. Oh, Morris has got him.
Well done.
Good
That's
job.
what he's in the team for. Welcome to the big time, Morris.
You know what? I love that Baker didn't run off with the footy then. He could have run off and taken advantage, Baker, but realised that this is his first touch for the game. So well done.
And it's a hand pass to Flostone. Out wide, Daniel Rioli.
It did happen in my first game. My first touch, a teammate ran off and the umpire called advantage.
Oh, well, you would have got 20 for the rest of the game, wouldn't you?
Mate, did not touch it.
Flostone to Cochin. He had a choice as which option to take. He went for the more aggressive one and comes to ground. You can see how Trent Cochin is trying to get this team going.
He's trying to will his team back into it. Yeah, they've been horrible. Just the ball hits the ground, North, especially the last 5 minutes, just doing what they please, North.
26-point gap. Cochin again, he had Prestia with him.
I think they're outworking him too. Every time you look at a ball that's a ground ball, a loose ball, they're outnumbered. They've been so impressive. Their work rate's been right at the very sharp end here.
Marty flipped it out. Hall. Davies-Uniacke.
Great.
Yeah, well, it's bowled through the middle for Larkey. Ford leads up. There's nothing for him on a direct path to goal, so it leaves them vulnerable out on the wing. Edwards was the disruptor, but McDonald keeps it moving. It misses Ford, and so Lambert is there to link up with Dow. Bit of an opening through the middle, but not the delivery he was hoping for. Davies-Uniacke again.
Well, you're not too critical there. That's a young man that's still just finding his way, but their ability to transition from one end of the ground to the other just hasn't been there today.
And Thompson Dow 10 disposals, so he's getting a bit of the footy, which is a good sign for him.
I think one of the prime aims is to take Richmond's handball game off them. They've only had the 77 so far today. They've hardly looked threatening, guys. Nothing's really come at speed.
And they've only had 84 kicks as well.
Because the ball's coming back pretty quickly, the inclination then to run and receive isn't there.
Davies-Uniacke tosses up for Tom Campbell, and just hit his hand. No, it hasn't.
It's a bit happening behind the ball. Cochin and Bonner have been going at it. Or, sorry, Cochin and Thomas.
North have only
off the ball.
North have only laid 10 tackles in the match. Richmond 17.
Oh,
so
they're still at it here. Cochin and Thomas.
He was down for a little while there, Thomas. He's up now on his feet. As Graham's at it again, delivering for Revolt. Lynch wants it back, and so he's doubled back to... He's obeyed the instructions, did Revolt. Plays it in front of Lynch, feeding it for Edwards. Oh, he's targeted Rioli, which was a strange call because he was well accounted for. And the Kangaroos are going to get the job done defensively again. Marnie.
He's
Thomas.
too tired from the wrestle.
I was going to say exactly that. Prestia kicks it deep. Goes to ground. Bolton, he pleads to the umpire. How about a free for that? Nothing doing. Tarrant to Goldstein.
Yeah, so Damien Harvick spoke during the week about the connection being an issue, especially when Richmond moved the football going inside 50, and today, again, a huge problem.
Tarrant would have felt pretty vulnerable there. The ball goes to the front. Simpkin tried to bully his way through. Tackle was prolonged from Prestia. Graham feeling the heat from Marnie. Now they're starting to lay some skin-the-roos. And that is determined as a baller.
When's the last time you saw Shane Edwards miss a kick like he'd missed when he went inside? Or the decision to go inside?
Yeah. And Curvis has his way with Goldstein. Bonner feeding Hall. And then Tarrant. Watch out. Oh, he almost forced the turnover, Rioli. McDonald. Bonner. Davies-Uniacke, he's had it again. Wasn't far off. Forcing, well, he does play a part in the turnover. And Curvis back through the middle. Can they load up with meaning, Richmond? Prestia just racked with indecision. Pays the penalty.
Sums it up right there, doesn't it?
Just no method going forward, have they, guys?
Well, they want to pull the trigger, Brownie, because the North defence has dominated the Richmond forwards. I mean, the Richmond forwards are, whether it's Coleman Jones or whether it's Rioli, whether it's Bolton, Turner's given Bolton a hiding. That in the end, the confidence to go forward's not there.
Last 2 minutes of this quarter. As the Kangaroos have extended their lead, they've kicked 2 goals, 2 to 1-1. They have dominated for periods that would reflect more than that. But a 4-goal lead pretty handy as we head to the main break. Stack, and it's over.
This would be, I mean, it's the first half, it's a half of footy that I reckon David Noble would be thrilled with. I mean, there are elements that he would like to see tidied up and they're a bit more effective when they do go inside 50, but everything else has been ticked. Every box has been ticked here.
Yeah, certainly started out of the centre clearances we saw there. They've won each and every one of them.
Yeah.
That's not a free kick.
Their hardness, their hardness. This is a young side who are in a bit of a hurry to get up off the bottom of the ladder.
Whacked forward by Nan Curvis, but Kangaroos had all the reserves there, although that's a misplaced kick from Thomas under some duress. And
they're allowing Aaron Hall to stand at the back of every stoppage. So I think they may need to address that at half-time, the Tigers coaches.
Short tries to get it in quickly to Lynch to give him a chance. Mackay was ready and waiting, though. Anderson, some pressure on Turner. Worked his way through it and then out the back. Anderson again. Soft touch for Hall. 10th possession of the quarter coming up for Aaron Hall.
I think Ben Mackay only gave up a goal to Tommy Hawkins last week, did he? So
yeah, it was only late too. He was outstanding.
2 weeks in a row is Lynch and Hawkins.
Hall gives it plenty of height down the line. Campbell was there, and then Curvis tried to put a fist into it. Scott can't get past.
I think he's had a very good year, guys. Yeah, Mackay, you know, a lot of inside 50s against. He's held up. He's been one of the better key defenders this season. A good match-up between him and his brother.
Well, to stack. Uses the stand rule to go. Jack can't get a real jump at it. He might get a free.
Richmond play.
Some high contact to give them some late hope in the term.
Well, they haven't really looked like marking one when they've been going in long like that, so they need a little bit of assistance. Let's have a look at it. Yeah, he's got his left arm, Robbie Tarrant, his left arm over the shoulder of Jack, so the free kick is 100% there. Nice on the siren here.
A look of concentration for Jack Revolt. He kicked it behind with his shot in the opening term. This should be an easier proposition. And it just squeezes through for a goal. And that's something to work with for the Tigers, whose season is on the line. They can lose today and still make the finals, but it's very unlikely. And certainly the way they're playing, they don't deserve to make it. The Kangaroos lead by 20 points at halftime. 5-6-36 to 2-4-16. The footy.
Okay. All right, guys. So that is halftime. So basically, in this halftime, it usually takes it's actually longer than halftime. So we are going to be playing some Fortnite now until the second term, which is the third quarter. So let me go ahead and this image here. I'll drag my ABS here. I'll drag this here. Alright. But we are going to be playing some Fortnite until the third quarter starts. So I'll put the timer on in a second. Let me just open this app so I can check and fix it and put check what time third quarter and second quarter ends for halftime. So let's do $5.53. Bit more. I got it. That's till the third quarter, guys. My friend's live right now. Alright. He joined.
Who wants a gift? Are you gonna gift them?
What?
My cousin wants a gift, a 200 V-Buck gift, like a emote. No, he's not gonna give you a $1,200 V-Bucks.
What?
1,200 V-Bucks, okay? Are you crazy? Wait, can you gift him a 200 V-Bucks emote? Can you?
I can, yeah.
What?
I say I can.
So can you gift him? I'm gonna invite him. Wait.
Alright.
Wait, are you on his friend list?
Yes.
Okay. You can choose a 200. Which emote do you want? 200 V-Bucks. You can only get a 200 V-Bucks one. No, just 200 V-Bucks one.
No, go digger.
No.
Please, I don't go.
No, he said only 200 V-Bucks.
Okay.
Which one? This is not season 7. This is season 7 emote.
No, I don't that one. I don't. Go up.
Yes.
No.
There's only 200. 200. Which one?
Give me
Stuff
gold
stand?
stuff.
No, he can't.
No, okay, ask him.
He doesn't have a lot of V-Bucks.
Ask him to buy you.
No, he needs money. He give you V-Bucks already. He give you this 200 V-Bucks. So just
Which
get
emote,
it.
whatever.
Heaven, you want or not? If you want, then don't need any. No, you can't get a pickaxe. Just these two. This or this.
No.
Okay. He wants the staff stand. Staff stand. The emote. Can you give them it? The staff stand.
Let's see.
Do you see the emote? It's at the daily.
Yeah,
It's at,
yeah, I see.
can you gift him it?
Yeah, I will, like, up my streamings.
Okay. Thank you. Let's play trios.
I think
Oh, he can't.
Got 12 minutes, guys, so after this match finishes, then we'll go straight to
ask him
footy.
already, no?
Depends
You
if
asked him
we
already.
die early.
Yes.
Let me.
Okay. No. Wait, how many V-Bucks you got?
I have to go on my PlayStation, but I'll check later.
Okay, he. I thought you can see in the game how much you got.
I'm on PC, that's why.
Oh, okay. Later check.
I can give me the last one.
No. This is the exact same. Gonna try and go with the fire high, use the letters. Bro, let's go. Where will you go?
Up to you.
What? I go Holly, go Holly. I accidentally jumped.
There's a lot of kids.
Yeah. Be careful. 4 people is okay.
Someone's
There's
coming to your house.
Bro! I see a llama. I saw a llama. Let me help you.
Oh, this gets a sweat.
Go stay here. The guy that also had the brain card. The guy. Oh, use your mini and then go to him. Use your mini and then go to him.
Use your minis and then go kill him. Go kill him.
Watch out for alien power sites because I heard the sound.
Go kill. What are you doing? You are not gonna get our reboot. If you don't go now, you are not gonna get our reboot. If you don't get our reboot, I'm gonna Just go, just go, just go. That's just the bot. Alright, run, run, run,
Can't
run.
go to car. Oh no!
Bro, the llama is right here. It's right behind here.
Guy.
It's at the bush behind here. There is a llama. I saw a llama. The llama is still there.
That's the guy who
Oh, the llama run. The llama run. You see? The llama run. You see that? Luke? It run away.
We're in the wind.
Ready up. Okay.
He was so good that. Where did I see that come from?
Yo, we have to return to lobby to.
That's a street sniper. No, street sniper. That's some sniping. Is this guy a YouTuber?
No. Yes. Yes. Shut up. Just shut up. He's actually. You're so annoying. Ready up. Ready up. Oh yeah. Huh. A flying girl with the brain on his little. Don't know. You take a. I know. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. You blind. And a flying ghetto. Brand new houses, letters. Heavy metal. Bro, why does it? I'm not wearing the style of Zig. I'm wearing the normal style for some reason.
You didn't say that. Why do you always don't say
Oh, it's echoey, ow, ow.
Bro.
I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Where we go? Pleasant?
Up to you. We got 5 minutes to go, guys. 5 minutes until the second term.
Oh, there! I saved it, but it's just that I think it's a glitch in the lobby. It doesn't show what style you save. We can go stealthy, honestly. You guys go Pleasant, I'll go stealthy.
Tell your cousin to turn off the voice chat because it's echoey.
Turn off the voice chat, Jared. Turn off the chat, the voice chat. Yes, or we're gonna kick you. Just kick him, bro. So he goes to game chat. Kick him. Kick him. So there. Now he's not actually. Let's go Pleasant. I'm gonna go Pleasant now. Go for me. Guys, for me.
Oh, well done.
Me too. What rarity is your railgun?
Where?
Nice. I also have a rare one.
I see a kid.
Wait, don't go yourself. We didn't go Pleasant yet.
He's dead.
Nice.
What was this kid doing?
Nice. Go to zone probably. Let's go Pleasant and then probably kill people here. I think there's still people here.
Alright. I'm gonna back out, okay?
Why?
Because I'm gonna put the footy on.
Okay.
Alright. I'll come back on once the game ends, okay?
Okay.
Alright. Yep.
Bye.
Alright. Give me a second, guys. Get rid of this timer. Okay. Alright. Second term is about to start, my friends. So give me 1 quick second and move this there.
Before half time, it meant that for the third week in a row, they haven't kicked just one goal in the first half of footy. This is the situation with the ladder. So the Giants making the running. Obviously, they've played that extra game already. If they lose today, Richmond, they can still make it mathematically, but it's going to be extremely difficult for them. And North Melbourne, a win today, they could still well and truly jump off the bottom of the ladder.
Well, they're playing much better footy than Richmond. That's the irony of it all. We know what they're capable of, Richmond. We haven't seen it. 6 out of 7 losses, and playing like a team that aren't going to make a big splash in September.
Well, the umpire's gone down, hurt himself.
Yeah. And the Kangaroos able to escape out of the middle. Again, a centre clearance. Anderson had the kick that goes forward. Thrusting, though, in the Rioli direction. No connection with Ralph Smith. Good recovery, though. He's pounced on the footy and kept it low for Lambert, who keeps it above the ground.
Let's see if we can see some better method here from Richmond with moving the ball. Just couldn't get any flow whatsoever in that first half.
Short to Grimes, well adrift.
Head clash between Koch and the central umpire there at the bounce.
Well, Ralph Smith couldn't have tossed it much higher into the air. And the Kangaroos have the answers again. Davies-Uniacke, though, that is not the best kick from a North Melbourne point of view. Now Curvis copped it. Play on was the call.
And harsh. I think the big Nank may have been worthy of a free kick there. It was a brave kick from Davies. Was it Davies-Uniacke that kicked it out of the back half?
Yeah, it was. It was a high ball.
Straight down the middle of the ground. Gives you an insight into their mindset, though. They're going to continue to take it on. And there's the reason that Big Toby's saying, well, why didn't you give me a free kick? I'm not bleeding for fun. Out of my eyeball, out of my eye row. So, yeah, I mean, we just heard Damien Hardwick bemoan the uncontested mark situation, which you've alluded to a fair bit. They took 72, North Melbourne, and he just said it's the modern game and it's hard to defend. Well, we understand that, but we'll just see how they counter it. Just got to maybe be a bit more accountable or up inside the opposition jumper.
Lambert copped it from both sides.
It's been a problem all year, Gaz, hasn't it? Richmond, we know in the past, have played that zoning sort of team defence, but teams have just been able to walk through them all year with that uncontested mark game.
Graham to kick it forward into the space in front of Lynch, which Zeeble fills with great expertise.
Well, he's becoming an issue as well. Aaron Hall for the footy he's getting, and Zeeble for the everything other than that.
Yes, that's a horrible mistake for someone so experienced, Jack Zeeble. And speaking of experienced players, it was Edwards that was onto it first.
We're going to make them pay. But his zone-off work's been elite, so he's been playing on Rioli. And in that case, Baker, he said, Baker, you're not going to be involved. I'll drop back in the hole. So he's become an issue there. But this turnover is really costly. 2 in a row for Tigers. Hey, the Kangaroos, what they didn't do was take advantage of their dominance in that first half with only 5 goals.
This to cut the margin to 14 points. From 35 out, Edwards gets it done.
He's got it.
And the Tigers are close enough.
Yeah, it's game on now. It's amazing what that does, that Rewald goal does here at half-time. So they look like a hopeless team, or a team without hope late in that second quarter. They just couldn't get any flow into the game whatsoever. However, Rewald goes back and kicks out. Look at this horrible mistake by Jack Zeeble. Normally his kicking is elite. It's been elite today, but it's just a shocker. But well done to Edwards, who was ready for it. But it gives you hope all of a sudden. You go in at half-time, you've got a little bit more energy. They come out now, get their first goal, and they're well and truly back in the game. So let's just watch the momentum and just see if North Melbourne can swing it back into their favour, or whether Richmond, as we've seen in the past, they get the game on their terms and then they overwhelm you.
Good spirit when he kicked the goal, that wasn't it? Like they got round him. I know that can be a bit superficial at times, but they need to generate that sort of excitement.
Well, that's what Richmond do at their best. They have not had a centre clearance still. 9-0 out of the middle. And, of course, Coleman Jones with Ned Curvis off. Gets the tap. This man, Simpkin, and he and Anderson have been the two. And they've dug in, and there's Cochin. He's won a free and he's won a centre clearance.
Yeah, that's the captain, isn't it? He's sensing the moment. Better pressure there by Richmond. Better hunt around the footy.
Desperate to give a handball to generate that run. Rioli scooting past. He's put too much on the kick. Under pressure immediately, though. Mackay into a Tiger tackle. Goldstein didn't connect with Hall. Revolt from Edwards. Tackles are laid, and that's stopping the ball. Incorrect disposal.
And it's only a little tiny minute or two, but there's a lot more energy about this Richmond side. So, of course, they've got to ask a question. North Melbourne are 18th on the ladder, so they've got to say, OK, if we bring heat and pressure and the intensity that we know we can play at, then let's see if they can pick these kicks off for the second half.
Identified a bit of room around Davies-Uniacke.
They do have a crack at those kicks into the corridor, don't they, North? Clear directive.
Tigers doing their best to cover the short pass, but they've still created a couple of holes on the wing. And they won't be happy with that. Anderson Off to Hall again, drills the pass for Stevenson. He's got Ford to the right, he's got Zerha in the pocket. He'll have to get over Grimes, that's not easy.
But that's more like it, that's more Richmond, isn't it? You go back, Zerha's kicked 3 goals. Grimes, their best defender, goes to him and takes the intercept mark. So there's a little bit more of a familiar look about this first couple of minutes.
Officer made, he just goes down the line. Coleman Jones will get there and be able to take an unencumbered chest mark at half-back. Eyes darting everywhere, plays it somewhat dangerously back and across. Mansell, and then the experienced Asprey. Short. To Rioli. And then loops it back over the top to Asprey. So they've gained some ground without really threatening yet.
Been a bit more cautious with the footy here.
Maybe some trying to beat them at their own game with some uncontested marks. Asprey goes long, and it looked like it was a very well-designed kick, although they're all over Davies-Uniacke, and the pressure pass to Mackay. Good enough to see through, but then slightly faulty handball put all the pressure on McDonald, and they've coughed it up. Cochin to Revolt, some of the old firm. Enter Edwards. He too was surrounded, but they kept on getting closer to goal, and then Mackay. Walker. Simpkin, eyes for the footy only, takes them up.
Much better look from Richmond early in this quarter, though. Their pressure, they're hunting around the football better. They're running in numbers, in waves.
McDonald. Trusty left foot kick for Larky. Margin sits at 14. Tigers with the only goal of the third term. They're ready to intercept again. Oh, Asprey didn't finish it. Zerha short. And there is a way forward for Richmond. Pressed here by hand to Graham. To go back and find it a little bit.
Waiting.
So returned it to Prestia. That's a bit of a dump kick down the line. Lynch made the contest and Revolt goes to work. Lagged the kick nicely for Lambert, and then Lynch was on his bike in the pocket. He's charging. It was a difficult shot, either a shot or a pass.
But again, that's much more familiar, isn't it? So the ball goes into their back half. They outnumber. Coleman Jones did it beautifully. Asprey should have marked. And everything North are doing initially now is under a degree of pressure that wasn't there in the first half of the game.
5-1 inside 50s this quarter in favour of Richmond.
They're still threatening the corridor, though, Gary, aren't they? I mean, they're still brave enough to bite it off. So if they can get through, they will get a good look, the Kangas.
I reckon Richmond will want them to, Kingy. You know, if they've made it a focus, then say, OK, you keep trying to take it. We'll try and take it off you, which becomes a nice arm wrestle.
They've won it back. Graham for Prestia. Didn't take the handball. Decides to make a full assessment. He's one of the better deliveries into the 50 for Richmond, and he showed it there. His patience pays off, and Graham takes them out.
Jack Graham. Direction by the coaching staff at half-time, just to be more
Winch
patient
and
with the ball
there.
instead of playing. So Prestia would have thought in the past he plays on there, just gets it inside 50.
I'm not sure that Fostone's any closer to goal than where Graham was, where he took the mark. In fact, I think he's further out. He is probably a longer kick, but...
Have they said, let's just be more patient, let's take our time, maybe build our games through uncontested marks. Look for some opportunity. North Melbourne's defence looked very good in the first half.
So Nick Flostone has not scored this year. Hasn't played the full season. And fades away to the right. Still a little curious, that kick from Graham too.
Yeah, I agree with you, Hunter. And one's a bit more of a noted goal kicker than the other.
Simpkin. Margin is 12 now.
Here's this battle we're talking about. How they want to exit and how Richmond want to dare them to exit, because they want to do exactly that.
Bolton winds up. He blasts away, and that's wide.
There we go.
One goal.
There we go.
Did he mean that?
Now to back.
What a
Within
kick.
6 points.
One step. I think he might have been put into the top of the goal square, but he's absolutely nailed it. I thought he picked out Robbie Tarrant. But this is more like Richmond. So early in the quarter, I know we're, 8-10 minutes into the quarter, but a lot better. So the pressure around the contest has been outstanding. North Melbourne is still having a crack at those shorter kicks, getting into the corridor, but now they're running in waves, putting pressure on North Melbourne.
But that's the great conversation, debate we're having here. North, yep, they do want to still go there. And Richmond now look far more alert, far more switched on, and they're now hunting the turnover. So now what happens is, has this young North Melbourne side who haven't experienced great success but look like they're improving, have they got the nerve to continue that? Or will now Richmond sense this vulnerability and sweat on them and get turnover like that?
So the fuse is lit. It's back to 6 points. You can imagine what noise the Tiger crowd would be making now at the Punt Road end and all around this great stadium. It's echoing with no people today. So the Kangaroos have to get to work. Thomas labouring away, but even the middle battle has changed a bit. No quick exits for North all of a sudden.
Yeah, been a lot better than centre bounce.
Hold that meter. Campbell goes against Coleman Jones. There's a second rung ruckman. Davies Uniac just edges a kick forward. Marnie, who's surrounded. Dow had the hands free. Prestia didn't panic. Off to short, leaning into another handball. The width was there, so Rioli can have a look. Ducks back through the middle. He continues to wander. He had to give the warning because the handball set up Prestia. Good enough to get it back. Graham, or indecision there between Dow and Rioli as to who was going to do what, and it slides out.
He's been the best midfielder. Jack Graham up to 19 disposals. Running hard still.
Rush Rioli Jr. wearing number 49. Jumper that his father wore in Perth. Of course, the 17 he wore for Richmond is taken by Daniel. Kick back to the wing. Larky tried to work his way through. Davies Uniac had one arm pinned, so there was no getting out, and the umpire says thus, and it's going to be a ball up. 2 goals to nothing for the quarter so far. Thrashed forward by Simpkin and well read by Eddie Ford.
He's got Goldstein there.
Yes, he was oblivious to the fact that Goldstein was on his own. He's got a few tricks. He's a confident young man, is Ford, and now Zurha has to battle against two.
Just an inexperienced player, just didn't read what was ahead of him. You need to understand that Goldstein was there. It would have been an easy uncontested mark. It's a missed opportunity.
So he had the option between getting the head shaved and the perm when his number came up at North Melbourne. He decided on the perm.
Not sure he chose wisely.
He's pretty happy with the perm. He's just glad it cost him $140.
Yeah. Prestia to Graham. Stack.
So 16 uncontested marks to 9 in favour of Richmond this quarter. Make it 17. So there has been a little subtle shift here.
Parker darting along that southern wing. Lynch had room to run and jump at the ball. Mackay wouldn't be denied, though. Edwards looking to apply the pressure, but the Kangaroos can escape Hall. The touch was excellent. It was a small touch, but it had a big impact because now they're charging multiple numbers. Stevenson, a big hand pass. The next steps are clear. Ford gives it back to Zurha, and that's not what he had in mind. It's just not quite coming together for North now.
Yeah, but the process was right.
Yep.
It was still take it on through the middle. You want us to go there, we'll go there and back ourselves. So I reckon David Noble would love that. It was just the finish that wasn't there.
Nick Floster decides to handball to get something started. Mansell waited for the right time to give it back to him. He's missed that by a little way, and it hasn't hurt them as it's turned out. Thompson back to Lambert. It's all go now for the Tigers. Ken Graham plays his part, cuts the kick through the middle of the MCG, gets away from Prestia. He's on it now, and look who is on the outside. It's Short with a menacing long kick. He decides instead to put it in front of Edwards.
Well, they're being much smarter going forward here. They're not necessarily looking at Lynch and Revolt. Lynch has been beaten by Mackay. Jack's found it hard to get involved, so they'll hit up the best option. And the last few times it's been their medium-sized forwards.
So Shane Edwards 5 goals, 3 for the season. Jaden Short's there for him to the right, just asking the question, if you need me, if you don't think you can kick it far enough. But Edwards goes back and takes it on himself and gets it.
That is a very good goal.
Like the start
and it's margin back to
game.
his point.
Well, it's a fantastic turnaround. But what you're seeing here is a really experienced side who've been able to use half-time to their great advantage, and that is they have made some adjustments. Their ball movement,
it's slowed down, guys.
Yeah, been prepared to go short, been prepared just to try and drag North Melbourne up a bit. But the other thing, Brown, is when they've gone forward, it's been Edwards and Bolton who have sort of been the main targets, if you like. Revolt and Lynch are still there playing a role, but they're much more prepared to go to the short.
Yeah, they've gone to the short. It was the play-on percentage, Gaz, in the first half from Richmond was 39% from the mark. In this third quarter, 14%. So that's a big change, isn't it? So clearly that's been a directive. As you said, lower the eyes going inside 50. It looked as if the North Melbourne defenders were able to drop off and set up for that intercept mark in the first half.
And they've brought some heat and pressure, and that is much more what we'd expect to see from a Richmond football team.
4 consecutive goals. The lead whittled away to just 1 point. And now it's on out of the middle. Stevenson threads it through impressively to Thomas. A direct line to the front of goals. That's the way to do it, and Zurha.
Yeah, you love that. He's got great speed off the mark. He got off Grimes there. Not much Grimes could do about that.
Centre bounce, Brownie.
Centre bounce again. Again, was a problem in the first half. They didn't necessarily score from him, but they were able to get field position from there. This time Thomas stormed out the front.
And this for his 4th goal, Cam Zurha. And that's just what they needed at the right time for Cam Zurha. Stops the run of 4 goals in a row. And the lead is back to 7 points.
Yeah, really good. So this is a problem for Richmond in the first half. These clean clearances at centre bounce out the front especially. There's a really clever hand pass by Stevenson to get that back in. Another look to the future there. Stevenson doing some centre bounce. We know that, Thomas spends a fair bit of time in there as well. But yeah, I like that little bit of a mix-up in there. Great delivery by Thomas. He's an absolute star of the future. We know Zurha, not many defenders will be able to go with him on the lead speed-wise. They need to finish that, though, because their accuracy hasn't been as good today. They've missed opportunities in the first half. That was a critical settler.
Richmond knew that coming in. North Melbourne, the #1 centre bounce clearance team the last 3 weeks. It's a big advantage. Josh Simpkin, the #1 centre bounce clearance winner in the AFL with 17. So he's had a fantastic day again today.
Most of that too without Ben Cunnington, who's one of the best in the competition. So that is super impressive. But Richmond, this man is actually their leading clearance player on the season, Toby Nankervis. That was his best disposal. Comes unstuck, but Campbell can't capitalise. The determination of Trent Cotchin was there again, and Big Nank throws his body back on top.
Even when they get a centre bounce clearance, they don't. Big Nank kicked it up in the air.
And he just wanders off now. Heaves the boot into it. From the side, Zeeble crashed the pack. Turner under immense pressure. Oh, and the handball from Walker. He's coughed it up. Baker, here we go.
Maurice!
Rioli puts it.
Maurice has picked it.
A smiling footy as they get around. Morris
He's
Rioli
kicked a
Jr.
goal.
Morris Rioli kicking goals at the MCG in a Tiger jumper. How good is that?
Great call, Hutto, and that was almost what the game's been outstanding. If we had a crowd, they'd be going nuts, and now they'd be really going nuts because Morris Rioli is the one who's jagged the goal. And again, this is a goal from pressure. We talked about goals from turnover, but this is the pressure that wasn't here in the first half. Back up, forward half pressure. All of a sudden, Walker it gets a bit nervous. So the defenders are feeling heat for the first time, and that's a beautiful thing to see. Well done, young man.
How exciting, first goal. With a smile on his face. He's going to be great sitting back watching this, man. If he can go with his old man and his cousins. Of course, don't forget about Cyril Rioli as well.
Yeah, that's an emotional moment for the Rioli family. His father died way too young at 53.
What are you trying to say, Winos?
Tigers back to within 1 point.
The clean centre bounce clearance.
Yeah, but
that
cut
doesn't
off
make
by
any
Flostone.
sense of what you said.
Sends it wide to Ralph Smith. Getting involved in the chain with Parker. around that southern wing. They zip the ball forward to Lynch, who's well up the ground. As you said, not necessarily coming out of the square for now.
No, Bolton's the deepest forward now, so they've changed it up. This is just a sign of a very good footy side. They're flexible.
Lynch plays it for Coleman Jones. Walker did enough. Morel Smith and Bolton takes care of the tackling.
Linus, I bought a subscription
Tom.
from KO, but I didn't buy a subscription.
Vacant goal square. Goldstein
Then
had some
my,
good resources at his feet. Zeeble.
Taken down. About 30% subscription more. I don't know what he's
Campbell
gonna say.
with the combat on Van Curvis, and then multiple numbers getting larger. So ball up on the wing. 5 of the last 6 goals have been Richmond's. Goldstein at the inside. Parker was there waiting. Awkward one for Coleman Jones and Walker. Lynch will be ready to tackle Tarrant if he takes possession. He tailed him, but he just gets away.
No.
Jamont a fumble. That gives access to 2 Richmond tacklers. Graham and Ralph Smith asked the question.
This is good though by the Tigers, building pressure on North Melbourne, keeping the ball in their front half. Just build the pressure.
It's funny where people say, oh yeah, you shouldn't get taken down, even though it's
Jamont slapped it back to the wing.
I don't think
So the gap in the game at the moment, in the first half, the Kangaroos took 75 marks in a half of football. It's a huge number. Only 11 in this third term. So they're being forced to operate at a speed they can't handle.
And Goldstein couldn't take the mark, so zigzagging from Presti was impressive. The handballs are linked up. It got to Rioli, came to a bit of a stop. Baker somehow found his way into the ball. Parker, that could be through.
That
and
is
Richmond are in
so
front.
good.
First time in the game, the Tigers
Good
hit
job,
the
Parker.
lead.
Yeah, and it's been on all day. But if you want to know why, that passage of play encapsulates just what has changed in this game. Pressure here, so turnover in your back half, kick's not quite there. Ball goes into dispute, and then watch this ball here. The first person or the first player on it is not Baker, but then there's a battle of wills, and Baker is the one that emerges. The Richmond weren't emerging with that ball in the first half of this game. So again, it would appear they said, hey, we need to ask the question. Yes, North Melbourne was so impressive in the first half, but we didn't put enough pressure on them to find out how they'll handle heat. And right now, the heat that Richmond are bringing, the Kangas aren't handling.
Turnovers, 5 goals from turnovers this quarter, the Tigers. All from most of them from the front half. It's been outstanding.
Scramble is on. Goldstein, good follow-up. Davies, Uniac and Simpkins, so their best ball winners in the middle. We're on the job. Look at Simpkins skirt through, somehow winding and finishing it off.
That is a superb performance from that young man, who's dominated through the middle of the ground, who's dominated at those centre-bounce clearances. But then when you're still finishing your work inside 50 and kicking to a space that no one expects you to, that is a solo effort of the highest order.
Zurha kicked one earlier in the quarter. Their other main threat up forward is Nick Larkey. And I mentioned he's normally a dead-eye, but that's 3 bad kicks for goal by his standards.
Yeah, he's a bad donor, isn't he? Accuracy-wise, so coming in, been terrific, but well, that's costly. 1 goal, 3.
They've put some serious doubts in the minds of North Melbourne, and they're on their way again, the Tigers, to half-forward. Riewoldt, supreme judgment. Lynch heads back towards goal. It's pretty well stocked down there as it stands. Ralph Smith misfires. Still alive, though, for Parker. Went at it once, went at it twice. Went back for Riewoldt. Just couldn't get enough forward momentum to have a shot. So he popped it up. It got through to Baker. And he kicks another one.
Wow.
Nice.
Tigers of old, they've got the momentum up now. I love to see Riewoldt too, when he took that mark, he didn't play on.
Now
It's almost like they said, right now, let's wait until all the cavalry gets inside 50. So if we do go in there, at least we've got numbers. So at least even numbers. Look at all the Richmond jumpers now. So in that first half, we didn't see this Gaz, we saw, heavily outnumbered by North Melbourne defenders. They were able to just exit at will. This time, though, even if the ball hits the ground, they've got presence.
Well, the reason in this instance that they're not outnumbered is it was because it was as a result of a fullback kick-in. I mean, how much did we talk about in the first half Richmond's inability to transition the ball from their defensive 50 forward, which makes it hard for their forwards to get a look at it. That just waltzed out from their back 50 all the way down. All of a sudden, Reebok gets a one-out look. They're one-on-one, and the game's now changing to reflect what we've come to know of Richmond.
And they lead by 10. Again, it looks like North can work their numbers out of the middle. Davies-Uniacke tosses it high. Ford got worked over by Flostone. Larkey came into the picture, but he stayed in the picture because the Tigers were all over him.
Look at that. Look at that pressure. So gang tackle. Didn't see that in the first half. It's been terrific coaching, I think, by Damien Hardwick. He's slowed them down when they've got the football, and he's asked for an increased effort with the pressure.
Well, he wanted to make it more of a contest game, didn't he? He said that at half-time.
When they're winning premierships as well, they weren't a great centre-bounce team, but they won it back in their back half, and that's where they've been so much better in this quarter.
Zerha was on the move, trying to cut through, but Flostone sends it the other way. Cochin receiving from Baker. Put him into a bit of a corner, but his footwork was good enough to get him out of it. Stack back to the wing. Mackay did pretty well, didn't panic. Simpkin misses the mark. The back up from McDonald. They've got it to Davies-Uniacke and then to Hall. They're just avoiding the Tiger pressure. They get through by the skin of their teeth, and then Anderson delivers wide for Stevenson, who feels it straight away from short. Now Marnie from the corner, short to Taylor. Well, somehow they've taken a mark inside 50.
Had to conjure one up. It was against their game style, though. It was a lot of quick handballs. As Kingy mentioned before, only 11 uncontested marks this quarter for North after 75 in the first half. But they were able to conjure one up there, and that was probably out of bounds from Marnie, but he got away with it.
So Curtis Taylor kicked a big goal late against Essendon a few weeks ago to keep them in the hunt. They fell short that day. They're 10 points in arrears right now, a little bit shell-shocked. The goal is exactly what Curtis Taylor is able to give them.
Back to 4 points.
Geez, much needed. Absolutely much needed. They just have a look at that. So they force this in, and what Richmond are doing now, so they're pressuring up. So North have got to flick the ball around by hands, which hasn't been their MO in the first half especially, but they're able to get one here. Probably a little bit lucky there. Taylor was on his own because they had so many Richmond players at the ball trying to win it back.
But isn't this a great test for the Kangas and for David Noble? Because he's sitting there going, right up, first half of the year, we lose this by 40 points. We just, because we weren't quite there and my teachings hadn't kicked in. Now, with 3 rounds to go, he gets a great idea of how far they come as a footy side. Are they going to roll and wilt under the heat, or are they going to hit back? And that's a really good sign, that, from Curtis Taylor. The first goal back. So it goes out to 10 points, they hit back.
Just 21 years of age, Curtis Taylor. They've got a good young crew coming through. But Tigers, too, have some inexperience today in this one. Out of the middle again, Simpkin. To McDonald, to Davies-Uniacke.
Oh.
He had him in his sights. Big Nank forces the turnover. Graham, suddenly they're probing away. Oh, the mark not paid to Mackay. He had to turn tackler straight away. And it was absolutely desperate stakes because they're circling here. Richmond. Coleman Jones got the ball to boot and is instant through.
Let's go.
It's going to be reviewed.
I believe it's a goal. Can you just check if the ball hits the goalpost?
Is that an accidental banana?
Umpire's call is a goal. Please check to see if you hit the post.
It's done well to get ball to
Review underway.
Done a fantastic job, Hunter, the big fella. To go the Snicko. Edge, whatever it's called. What's it called?
Edge.
AFL Edge.
AFL Edge.
Oh.
Let's go to the AFL Edge.
Edge.
Big fella hopes it's gone through, Brownie, because that's a pretty good effort for him.
We like those. There's a big bloke.
A little banana.
Clever one. Just to
Review complete. Looking at these angles, we can see there is no deviation as the ball passes the post and no spike on edge. Decision on scoreboard.
So that's a goal.
So confirmation. that it's a Richmond goal, and it's back to 10 points.
They'll be telling little blokes, that's how you do it, boys, during the week. But I think that was that passage of play. So there's the goal there, confirmation of the goal. That passage of play from the centre, I think that's a great example of the turnaround of Richmond this second half, Gaz. So their pressure has been a hell of a lot better. More Richmond players turning up to each contest. They flick the ball on. Yes, it might be a little bit messy, but have a look at that. So the numbers that commit over to each contest, good finish there. Off his shin.
Are we sure he wasn't trying to centre that to Jack Rebold? Are you absolutely positive he wasn't trying to centre that to Jack? That's a good... Let's go back to the centre and see whether they can't sort something out here, because at the moment it's 13...
Richmond's pressure. There are
3, I think,
a week right now.
Look, 13-3
Melbourne, they are average.
It's a 7-goal quarter, Gaz. It's a huge quarter from Richmond. They've started slowly in the first halves the last couple of weeks. 1 goal against Fremantle first half, 1 goal against the Cats. So this second half's been really strong.
Yeah, it'll be a while since they've kicked 7 goals in the third quarter. I think Richmond 7 goals to 2.
Look at that. Gang tackle again. I think I've seen about a dozen gang tackles this quarter by Richmond players.
19 tackles to 12 in this quarter alone. McDonald, look at that effort from Curvis. He laid him out. He handballed it according to the umpire, so the Roos can nudge it forward. Marnie really had to take that because there was Richmond players everywhere he looked. That's a good response from Marnie. He's going to win a free out of that.
See, now Curvis, a man on a mission in the middle, trying to change the tide here. It's a bit embarrassing when you're down by, what is it now, 14-3 centre bounce clearances.
Marnie. That plays to Nankervis's favour to get a hand onto it. Forward.
Another one by the big fella. It's a tackling machine out there. It's amazing, isn't it? It's a simple game. When your players get to work, you know, around the contest in the Richmond midfield, led by Nankervis, just got to work here. They were very ordinary in that second quarter. I felt as if North players just walking through it. Intensity's a hell of a lot better here.
Bolton found a way to extract it. Baker's kick wiped out by Jamont. And then it ends up over.
The discussion about in-game coaching is incredibly relevant today. So 75 marks in the first half for the Kangaroos, and Damien Harbick says we can't win if they continue to take uncontested marks at that rate. 13
14 likes in the stream.
Yeah, well,
you got
had
48
kicks,
people watching. Appreciate everyone for the support.
Just denied them.
Davies Unak as the ball escaped, a little handoff. As they start to learn, Jamont with the kick. Here's Lucky. Oh, he got both hands wrapped around it. Still alive. Zerha searching. McDonald. And then Jamont again plays it right across and out of the outstretched hands of Ford. The interesting thing about that is they would have expected it coming in.
Well, all the numbers tell you that's exactly how the Kangaroos were going to play. So
you've got a minute and 9 to go.
To make the change, to instigate a different style.
A 7-goal quarter has changed everything. That's going to be judged a push.
Play.
They just haven't been able to get any control in this third quarter, North Melbourne. Their marks. The games, the ball's been in motion the whole quarter. North Melbourne's had more handballs than kicks. It just shows you there, but it's been hot potato for North this quarter.
High to the wing. Bonner gets there, puts a fist in it.
Which is fine for Richmond. Richmond are happy to play that style. But not North Melbourne.
Just looking at the pressure numbers. First quarter, Richmond 160. Second quarter, 174. Third quarter, 216. That's the gap, isn't it?
Yeah. We got interested all of a sudden. They decided to come and participate.
Tigers with the Giants next week. If they win this today, that is a massive game against GWS, who was so good last night, and then Hawthorn to finish the season. They'll still need other results to go their way, but if they win their 3, they've got to be a pretty decent chance of getting there. Thomas wobbles it inside. One last hurrah, perhaps, for the Kangaroos for the quarter. Marnie identified Simpkin, but he was beaten to the ball by Short at the last possible moment. And the Tigers may have staved off any threat late in the term. And the instructions is pretty clear to Coleman Jones.
I would have loved to have been in the meeting at halftime.
10 seconds
what did Damien Hardwick say? How emotive was it? He asked for extra special effort, or is it all strategy?
Time will tell.
Kangaroos with the clock as an enemy here in terms of
there we
trying
go.
to get another score. So what a quarter from Richmond. Morris Rioli Jr. in his first game of AFL footy at the MCG. He's kicked a goal and he was part of this Richmond surge. 7 for the term, just 2 for North. And it's Richmond at the final turn that lead by 10.
Okay. 3/4 time. So Richmond now winning by 10 points. This is going to be the last quarter, the final showdown. So this will be intense. We are 3 subscribers away for 280 subscribers, guys. Appreciate the support, everyone. I'm going to put jumper on. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so how long do we have until the last quarter? About 3 minutes. So if Richmond wins this, guys, they'll be in the 9th. Minute and 48 to go. Alright. 40 seconds to go. We are going to put the game on.
5 goals won, and that just shows the power and the damage of the Richmond Football Club.
So here it is, the final showdown.
From the
Richmond versus North Melbourne.
3 men,
Richmond winning by 10
big fella
points.
Toby Nankervis led it up. Never
So,
seen so many gang tackles in one quarter.
Hopefully,
so they had 22 tackles for the
this
quarter.
will be interesting.
Richmond up until that point in time, they'd only had 15 for the game. So outstanding. 4.5 tackles as well. That's where the damage was done.
Well, if you don't ask a question of a team that's on the bottom of the ladder, then
So,
you'll never get
when
the
it's
answer.
5 minutes,
and they
put it
didn't
in the
ask any
game.
questions in the first half. That was the difference. So they said, well, you know, half time, they're looking at it, we're
I'm
steering down the
going
barrel,
to
20-point margin. Now we'll ask the
schedule
question.
my
They got the
stream.
answer they were after. 7 goals.
So here we
So
go.
the win, and then
Last
within
quarter.
2 points of the Giants, who they play next week. So much at stake in this last quarter. They have a 10-point advantage as Goldstein goes at it a couple of times.
The Giants,
Cochin
Richmond
and
will be in
Thomas
the 8.
scraps are there. And it's Goldstein and Simpkin fighting amongst themselves, which meant he was tailed on the way out. They can't get a clear passage forward. Look at the diving desperation of Bolton. It goes unrewarded from the umpire.
Nankervis again tried to hurt Thomas, or so in a legal way. He's really throwing his weight around out here.
Thomas found a way out that time. He's tossed it up. The bounce awkward for Ford. And Fosterman takes a little bit of extra territory.
I love when a big ruckman, like an old school ruckman, comes out and imposes himself on a game of football, Gaz. That's why they love playing for him. Have a look at that man, premiership ruckman. He sensed his team was in trouble at halftime.
Thomas made the move, but it was Goldstein who services Jamont, who tries to hit the chest of Larkey. He wasn't far off the mark. Marnie to the outside. Davies Uniac. They might need something special. Well, that wasn't quite hit the mark.
We talk about what happens at quarter-time, half-time breaks. I'm sure David Noble said, hey, we're not rolling over here. It's only a 10-point margin. There's still the opportunity to claim a really big scalp in the context. So you don't want to see North Melbourne fade, just fade away and say, oh, it was a brave first half. I think the expectations are higher than they were early in the year.
Mansell to the numbers, to the big guys. They fight it in the air and then on the ground. It ends up going North Melbourne's way. Simpkin was pivotal again from Tarrant to Hall. Didn't have that same influence in the third term, Hall, but he gets a target inside 50, and it's Marnie.
And these are the chances they've got to take if they're starting to believe. And
gave it to Hall, who wasn't really in a position, but it does allow Marnie to get a little closer and hit it the sweet spot. Back to 4 points.
4 points the margin.
It happened quickly.
Oh, it's great, but that's what needs to happen. I mean, if they've taken the steps that we all think they have and the broader footy world think they have, then they do fight this out. They do maintain the style of footy that was troubling Richmond. Okay, they've got to deal with the heat that came their way in the third quarter better. But hey, they're in the contest. It was a 10-point margin. It's now down to 4. Very much still alive.
Looking at Taron Thomas out there, Gary and Brownie, he's getting hammered at every opportunity, every stoppage. They're overly physical towards Taron. So I think it's a real sign of his maturity as a young man, only 21 years of age. He only had the 16 disposals today to keep pushing, keep fighting.
Might be
That's a good point, and he's been on the end of a few Nankervis hits as well.
So Big Goldie's got to, he's got to start to understand that, if that's what's happening, and realise that, and
I love the
start to flex a little bit as well.
People arguing.
It's a sign of where he's at too, isn't it? The ability of the young man.
Actually entertaining.
Just 21 years of age. Simpkin and Davies Uniac have been incredible as well for North out of the middle. There's Thomas, there's Davies Uniac, and there's Hall. But they're being pushed back, which gives an opportunity for Revolt. Trying to seize that opportunity, which he does now. Off the left boot, a bouncing ball. Parker to give. Bolton threatens. Turner went to ground, and Bolton doesn't capitalise.
They're dangerous when you keep handballing backwards. The wave of pressure from Richmond just comes down on top of you, and mistakes are inevitable. So they need to move the ball forward, North. Can't get caught going backwards against this Richmond pressuring up.
I'm not sure Jamont was aware of how much pressure he was under. Ralph Smith, and that's Richmond, isn't it, to a tee. Jack flicks it, and then Bolton kicks it out on the full.
Good pressure from Turner. Just refused to concede in the end.
Pretty easy, cruisy little kick to Zeeble, but the Tigers are set up, so...
Corridor's dried up, Hutto.
Yep.
There's nothing on through there. He's still looking, though.
Yes, he had a long, long look. But he settles on Campbell, who had some good scouts around him. Taylor's handling wasn't great initially, but he recovered really well. So Marnie had Ford up his sleeve, but Rioli put paid to that. Now it's going to head Richmond's way through Cochin and Dow and Asprey and Flostone. Just pinned back ever so slightly. So that does allow the North defence to get settled. Mansell picks out Nankervis, who wanted to give it to Flostone. Now he has to kick, but that's okay. Lateral movement to Grimes. They slide across the MCG. Stack doesn't have the same influence he did last week with a probably career best game over in Perth. But he can run and look to deliver forward. It was a bit of a winding road for him and there was a lot of obstacles, but he didn't give up and he might have won the ball back. Tigers take the advantage. Can they leverage it fully? Graham, a little bit too much adrenaline pumping maybe.
A little bit going on between Turner and Bolton off the ball. They've been at each other all day.
All day.
You feel like it's going to bubble over at some stage.
Get an ISO cam on him, King.
He's done a good job, Turner.
Mackay slips back to the goal squares. Extra insurance here. They're all over Jamont.
That's where Richmond built pressure on North Melbourne in that third quarter. They continue that secondary stoppages, built the pressure, created that turnover in the front half.
Goldstein with authority down to Jamont.
Play on, touch!
Now Smith tries to work out where it's going to be. He was able to get the hand pass to Stack, who got disposed of. Simpkin just hoping with a kick. Nankervis to Cochin, they're lining up through the middle. Rioli maybe just beyond him from here, but his eyes are darting quickly. Bolton's deep in the goal square. You know what he can do from here. He's on the run. No, he won't be the one that goes. Somehow bypasses just about everyone. Coleman Jones. Baker trying to get a piece of it, but it's Davies Uniacke. And the kick is just long enough to be paid a mark.
Not doing.
Just to pull out a breath or two for his team. Thomas.
Challenge is trying to re-establish his uncontested mark game. It was so good for North Melbourne in the front half, but Richmond's defence has really tightened up. This team defence, there's just no holes now to create those marks.
Yeah, and they got a bit spooked, let's be honest. They got spooked in the third quarter when they went for it and turned and had turnover goals against them. So you're just not as certain about it right now.
35 players were ahead of Grimes when he took that kick. So the challenge is to find a way through. Short. Back pedal, but suddenly there's a gaping hole. He's got full momentum and he didn't take the shot on. Try to be cute. Dow, impressive. How did he get through? Doesn't quite finish it.
Good lateral movement by Dow. Need to be brave here though, Gaz. North need to be brave. Try and hit that kick in the corridor.
Well, the last one was just they took time and then kicked it out of bounds on the full. So there's the brave kick that you're after, and it's opened up here.
It finds Turner, and they're stocked on this left-hand side on the way out. Not as tidy as they would have liked. Bonner for Taylor. Back through the middle. Hall was there. Larkey labouring just to get back to potentially giving an option more down the line. Decides to go across the ground instead. Change the angle of attack. Still through the corridor, though, that aggressive wing line. Davies Uniacke. Back to Hall. Larkey holding his ground deep. Campbell's there as well.
Done well here. Done really well to get to this stage here. Bit of space on the outside.
Simpkin, here they come. Ford had to fly from behind. Stack made the footy his target. He won it back brilliantly and bravely for Richmond. Now Ralph Smith through the middle. They are surging through Graham. A bounce and then to the outside to Baker. Revolt's got through to contend with the head, so he has to just pause, and now he's called to play on. Dow becoming more confident.
How bad was that kick inside North Melbourne's 50? You had the big man down there and you went for the little fella in Eddie Ford.
Graham's just pulled up a little sore. I think he's okay. He's just coming from the ground. Back to Flostone. And the full setup is on. Stack got himself onto the left side, which made the kick more difficult. He executed pretty well. It wasn't far off. Look at Bolton weave a little bit on the way through. And they say, Hugo, and he's kicked it!
What a goal!
Ralph Smith lands a big blow in this final term. And Richmond lead by 11.
Yeah, great kick, great finish. I'm going to take it back to the other end first. Now have a look at this kick inside 50. Sinking at his time again. He's not going to forward. It's got to be a better kick now. He may have slightly miskicked it. That need to go to the point of the goal square in a more dangerous position instead. They go back and attack the other way, Richmond. They challenge North Melbourne defence inside 50, and a brilliant finish by Ralph Smith.
Well, they've got some reward from the changes they've made, haven't they? Coleman Jones has hit the scoreboard. Ralph Smith has hit the scoreboard. Rioli's hit the scoreboard. They swung it around. Baker's goal twice in the third quarter. So they found some different avenues to goal, which they've been lacking in big time. So it's a great result there. You're dead right about that kick round. It had to come fat side even. There was a whole heap of space on the other side of the forward 50 for the Kangaroos.
Out to 11 again, and the onus is on the Kangaroos to turn the tables. Goldstein, Anderson, Baker. Some room to manoeuvre to press here. Thumps it deep, Revolt. Didn't need to jump.
Good mark by
He
Revolt.
had body position on Bonner, and he
This
takes
will
the
hurt
mark.
if he scores the goal.
Probably had to just jump in the way there.
And we know how brave he is.
It's not a brave issue, was it?
He
It was
thought
just,
about it, and then he thought, well, if I go there and I leave Bolton on the ground, there's going to be an issue. And then the end, Jack gets a nice one-on-one.
He kicked what has turned out to be a critical goal just before the break earlier on. And now he can extend it to a match-high 17 points for Richmond.
And there it is.
He couldn't have split the middle any more conclusively than that, Jack Revolt. And Richmond leads by 17 points.
Ironically, the story of the first half was the centre bounce dominance for North Melbourne, but this time Richmond get the centre bounce. They go the other way. Just a genuine contested mark. This one, you have the advantage as a forward. 6-6-6. You can go there with confidence to one-on-one. So Turner, we're just caught in two minds there. He's thinking, I don't want the ball to hit the ground because Bolton's such a dangerous player. Unfortunately, he probably need to affect that contest, but great mark there by Jack Revolt. Contested mark. Not a hell of a lot Bonner could have done. Great finish too. It's a captain's or a leader's goal.
Well, they've kicked 9 of the last 12 goals. That's a fantastic response. You shouldn't be surprised, given how this is a fantastic footy side. And Jack all of a sudden's up to 47. That's a fair sort of a return for a player who's coming into the twilight of his magnificent career.
Yeah, amazing return. And it's going their way again out of the middle. Bolton goes as long as he can, as quick as he can to Revolt.
We almost marked it.
Parker.
That's it.
Popped it over to Prestia.
They scored again.
Now the Tigers. They probably only need one more to finish off the Kangaroos. It's 23 points the difference. And it's one-way traffic.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with Prestia. Impressed with Prestia and Jack Graham in the second half. So look at their work out of the centre bounces. They just rush forward. They win the centre bounce here. So Bolton probably buys Prestia time. He presses hard inside 50. Gets to the crumb, gets the first receiver. Good crumb by Parker and a great finish. So they've kicked some good snap goals in this second half, Richmond. But yes, Prestia again from the centre bounce.
Well, they kicked 2 goals from centre bounce this quarter, Brownie. So all of a sudden they've had the hand, or the backside handed to them out of the middle for the best 95% of the game, yet they found a way to kick 2 goals when it's mattered most from centre bounce, which is
whip the water bottle.
Well, again, it just tells you so much about this footy side.
Missed so much football down Prestia, such a pivotal part in the Tigers' success. Just his 8th game for the season. He's onto that, slips it to Coleman Jones. Turner there to interrupt.
Learned his lesson and decided to go that time.
Ball had to return it for him to try and get some sort of movement forward. So it's labour intensive to get out and comes unstuck.
So look where the ball goes now. So it goes into their defence and it comes back out slowly around the boundary. Richmond win it back 80 metres from goal. First half, that's coming back through the middle again. It's been opened up and away they go.
Guys, I love the drop. I love the
toxicity
that you guys are doing.
Huge numbers for the Kangaroos. Kangaroos midfield.
It's actually very
Davies Uniacke,
entertaining when I
35
see,
disposals,
like,
Simpkin
toxicity
33,
and
and
I just
Hall off
watched.
halfback with 30. Anderson nudges it forward. He's also had 24. Unless they can change the way this game is being played out, they're going to come up well short of the Tigers. Possession game for Richmond. Just to shake the Kangaroos clear. Flossstone.
Well, it depends.
Now
Who
that
cares
surge
if he
mentality.
dislikes it? We'll
Short,
have
flicks
18
it back
likes
through the
more than
middle.
one, so
Edwards to Cochin.
that's fine. I don't really care.
Stack having more influence as the game continues. Coleman Jones. That wasn't ideal. Taylor, though, is going to have to try and swat off a couple of Tigers, and he
Pick
can't do
18
that.
likes.
Well, the
If you
ball got
spam,
away from
don't worry,
Parker
you
unexpectedly.
skip it,
Prestia was there with the backup.
You spam,
And
this
Matt
is
Parker into the full twist and turn. Short to Cochin. And Stack again, just able to keep his feet enough to get the kick away to Baker.
We showed you a lab at quarter time about what North did in the first quarter. Well, you could overlay it with what just happened then.
Plasma,
Ball comes down, it's played out on the wing. All of a sudden, Richmond are able to come
Baker
back
has
through the
the
middle
ball,
of the
guys.
ground. Parker hits Cochin in the centre. Cochin plays on quickly. Ball comes short pass to Baker. That was the MO of North Melbourne early.
So if William Baker scores this,
So
I think
Baker
that's it.
to make it a 29-point ball game.
And
that's
he
just
scored
fine.
it.
Yeah, they've just overwhelmed North Melbourne this second half. It's always a good telltale sign when you look at the number of jumpers in the screen. This quarter, they've just outnumbered North Melbourne at every contest. They've actually kicked straight today. So last week, both teams were inaccurate, Fremantle and Richmond. Today, you go back, 13 goals, 7. They've taken their opportunities in this second half especially. So good set shot 5 minutes ago by Jack Rewalt. Another great finish there by Baker to go back and soak it up. They've been outstanding this second half.
And ask the question, Brownie, at the start of this quarter, that this is going to be a really great test for David Noble to look how far they've come, because early in the year, this is what we would have expected to have happened, that they'd get brushed aside and end up losing by 40 points. Well, all of a sudden it's out to 24, and this is not what you want given the advances that they've made.
And starting to open a centre bounce too, isn't it, Gaz?
They're everywhere.
They're just walking out at will now, Richmond. They look like they're out of juice, North Melbourne.
29 points.
Again, another centre bounce clearance to Richmond.
Richmond's on ball. Brigade still got the appetite for more. Rioli was the finisher off half-back. Couldn't connect with Rewalt that time, so North can go to work. Tarrant to Goldstein. They look for answers on a way forward. On pretty tired legs, Davies Uniacke. Back to Goldstein. And Hall does get a passage at last to kick the ball to half forward, but Rioli, who looks every inch a running half-back, was there again. Stevenson, the last moment he drops it short rather than have the shot. Had to fight his way through Larkey. The odds ended up being against him once he didn't take the clean take.
Great effort, Mansell. Mansell getting back against Larkey there to help out Asprey was unbelievable.
Coleman Jones buys a bit of time. Back to Ralph Smith, who's played his part as well.
No doubt in the post-match, Damien Harbuck will again touch on the modern game, uncontested marks. Is it great for our game with the new stand rule? I assume he'll do that again today, I reckon, after the first half.
But what does it tell you, though, Key? Because the adjustment was made, so clearly...
Here's Bolton, across to Rioli. Can he get a second? Not with that kick. And that's out on the floor.
What a shot. Because clearly Richmond have made the adjustment, King, in the second half. So North Melbourne have only taken 22 uncontested marks in this second half. So
Richmond have taken 43.
43. So is it more to do with method, though, King? So they've shown the ability to stop North Melbourne's uncontested game.
I just think it's a discussion for the greater game, isn't it? That he's clearly not happy with the way it looks at the moment, Damien.
Here's a little give to Thomas, a little gift for North Melbourne. Can they capitalise? Not ideal for Stevenson. Made it far more difficult than it might have been.
Good tackle.
And in the end, the support that arrived was Richmond's. Squirts the way of Larkey, but as always, Grimes was there, planting the flag for the Tigers. Out to the wing for Cochin. Back through the middle again on the advance with Graham. Had plenty up his sleeve. Swarming numbers. Dow gave it to Floster, knowing that he'd have to get it back. He's shown a bit of ability to step through Dow, and almost for Bolton. Rioli again, a little soccer. It wasn't far off the mark. They're saying he was under pressure.
Thomas Dow has got some dancing feet, hasn't he? Just showing plenty today.
It was a late in for Camden McIntosh. Now Scott for Stevenson. Larkey's roaming with a bit of room in the forward 50. He's going to be a long way from goal, though. And made a bit of a meal of it.
Oh, they had the overlap, they had the out number. It's just got really untidy for the Kangas.
Scott out to 30 points. Short, a little bit of a teasing game there. Going to add to his numbers. He is their leading disposal winner on average this year, Jaden Short. One of only 2 teams where it's a defender. He and Jack Crisp leading possession winners for their respective teams.
High contact.
Richmond play. I don't think so, Picker, because it's 7 minutes to go.
Of course, the Tigers been missing
But
some
we'll
of their,
see, though. It's 30
regular
points to
midfielders
margin,
for
so I
so much of
don't
the
think
season
they'll
at different
make it within
stages.
30 points.
7.5 to go. Bacon or Edwards? Bolton decides to fly at that. Jack did as well. Bolton left them all in a spin, but can't quite get the ball to come back.
Would have been a great goal. It's an interesting discussion, Gaz, with Richmond, isn't it? Just how they defend opposition ball movement. We've seen several examples this year where I think they've looked lacklustre when the opposition's got the ball. I think they needed tightening up.
Yeah.
I know the game might have changed with the stand rule, but I'm not sure about their application defensively this year.
Well, this second half hasn't been a problem. They've come back and filled in holes and closed up gaps.
Well, that's evidence. Evidence is right there, isn't it?
Sore boy Jack Marnie, he's going to take his kick. Do you think they'll can beat the Giants next week, Richmond?
Well, the suspicion is that might be a Friday night special, Hutto, and Toby Green decision that we're waiting for, or I think that's going to have, regardless of what the decision is, if it's a couple of weeks, then we're going to hear more.
Yep.
But if he plays, then that's going to be a great Friday night season on the line stuff. It depends which Richmond we're going to see. The first half, Richmond gets beaten by most teams in the competition. The second half, Richmond is the one that everyone else in the competition fears is going to bob up in September and give them all sorts of nightmares. So ultimately, it becomes an attitudinal thing, doesn't it?
Toby Green offered 2 weeks.
Well, I think we'll hear more.
And Curvis up for grabs with Lambert, maybe taken a little high.
He's always going to go to the tribunal. I don't think the MRO is going to let him off on that, but on precedent, he gets off at the tribunal. And they can use precedent now, so it's going to be a very interesting case.
Baker.
I think this bloke's been great.
He has.
He's had a fantastic day, Liam Baker. He's been tough and hard and hit the scoreboard when they need a bit of a lift up forward.
He's played just about everywhere this year too, hasn't he?
Yep, went back as a half-back and made his own there. He's been through the middle at times.
One of only a handful of Tiger players that have played every game. Just a bit of possession footy here for Richmond. Foston decides to go and take the lead from Prestier on.
So Tommy Lynch, just the 2 kicks and 4 handballs and the 1 mark. So he's the one when you're talking about finals and next Friday against the Giants. He's the one that they'd like to get going. And the first half didn't work for him for lots of reasons, but
had his hands full with Sam Taylor.
Well, you want to hope that Sam goes to Jack.
Cute little adjustment from Prestier on the kick, and he and Curvis on the same wavelength. Now we get to watch the big Nank go back and have a shot for goal.
And this man's a key to them as well.
That's a joy, that kick,
Curvis.
by the way.
Yeah.
Just the understanding between those two. More of that, please. Don't go to the obvious spot. Work it out. Get on the same page. Look at that kick. Off the square. As easy as you like.
1 goal for the season for Nant Curvis, who strokes that, but just misses.
Yes.
Who would teams be more wary of to take 8th position, do you think? The Giants or the Tigers?
Oh, you have to ask.
I'm just asking.
There's no team in the competition that wouldn't be barracking for Richmond to be out of this final series.
In the shape they're in, though?
Yep.
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 Okay.
Yep.
Good pressure from Rioli. Just asking, Gary.
I'm just telling you, Anthony.
No, that's all fair too. That is Uniac. Hall. They've worked their way through that pretty well. Simpkin to Zeeble. And then to McDonald. And Hall just keep on coming. Cruising through the middle. Back to McDonald. They've just got a bit more untidy with their disposal as the game's gone on. The pressure is told.
It's really obvious where the Kangaroos can get better, which I think is the exciting thing. We saw the first half of how good it looks. It's just their ability to be able to maintain.
Leads are made, but the spot where Richmond knew it was coming.
They recognise they've got some holes, Gary. I mean, this is the bottom end of the rebuild right now. Some of these young kids have taken some giant strides in 2021, but just some polish, just on that occasion there. Anderson going forward. They're the sort of execution mistakes they've been making.
Yeah, and they'll start doing it for longer, and all of a sudden, hopefully, in another year or two, they'll be competing hard again in September.
Tigers keep coming here. Baker to Rioli. He had a look. He was searching for Morris, and he found him at centre half forward. Oh, he almost had a path on his own, and Ralph Smith's going to get a shot for goal. That reminded me of Gary and Nathan Ablett when Nathan made his debut.
So you say Jim and Phil.
Well, a bit of that too. But you could see as Cyril, as Daniel had the ball, he was like, where is he? Yep. And he found him eventually. So Ralph Smith, he's shown that he can hit the scoreboard. A couple of goals against the Crows earlier in the year, and now he can double up here as well.
Might pick this one.
Takes his time over this one to extend the margin to 37 points.
So being able to hit the scoreboard, so they've changed their forward mix. Castagna and Arts were both dropped, just failing to hit the scoreboard over the last 8 or 9 weeks, really. So clearly Damien Hardwick wants more from his crumbing forwards. Rioli has come in today, he's hit the scoreboard. Ralph Smith's hit that as well. Bolton's been able to kick a goal.
Coleman Jones. And will extend it out to Parker. 2 keys are there fighting it out. Defied in the end. Now Bono with Bolton right in his face, and you can see the result.
Yeah, Picar will be. I'll just schedule my stream.
Thompson Dow.
So once we talk about the game in that,
absolute magnificent goal for your first
show you guys
earlier in this quarter. This wouldn't be too bad either. Richmond have got their live percentage to above 100. As Dow comes in, he's made a good fist of that.
Good kick.
It just goes across the face. And percentage could potentially still decide that 8th spot or the 7th and 8th spot.
Yeah, well, it won't for GWS because they've had a draw, but certainly for the other teams it will.
The West Coast is 96%, Fremantle's is 90%, so they've got those two covered at the moment, but Essendon is 102.7, so if it happens to be out of them and the Bombers.
So what's the Tigers gone up today?
Up just 2% from 98 to 100.
Great tackle.
Symbolic in their second half. Richmond's pressure outstanding. Tackling's been great. Tackled by Rioli there.
55 seconds to go.
His 23rd disposal, so he is right at home across half-back. We've mentioned that a few times today, I know, but
good
he's
win.
come in 15, 19, 19, 20,
back.
and now 23 disposals, so he's getting more and more comfortable. Asprey to short, they're just going to toy with them here. So just before halftime, they only had the 1 goal.
And it looked like their season was grinding to a halt, let's be honest.
Yep.
They'd been comprehensively outplayed by this North Melbourne side, and it just looked like it had come to an end, its natural end, and then the halftime break comes, and here they are.
Well, something came just before halftime, guys. That Jack Rewald goal on the siren.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just gives you a little bit of hope.
Yeah.
When they looked hopeless, didn't they, up until that point?
Siren will sound. And there we go.
Yet. The Tigers find a second wind to overcome the Kangaroos. We've seen the name Maurice Rioli back on the MCG. He's kicked his first goal in AFL footy as junior, and he's been part of a winning team. The Tigers get home by 33 points, and they're still going to make some other teams nervous, at the very least this year.
Absolutely. GWS and Hawthorn to finish.
So Richmond are 9th.
You would think they get in, Hutto, the way it's going, so they creep up by 2%. So the percentage is okay there. Obviously, you take GWS out of the equation because they have had that draw. But second half, impressive. And quite often, you know, you can get your season going, you know, in a good half of football. Jack Rewell kicks a goal in half-time, and they get that Richmond game back. They pressure and overwhelm North Melbourne that second half. They won the centre bounce clearances, got their game back, and this man, I think it's Shane Edwards, is it? Is it Shane Edwards down there or Jack Graham? He was the key in the second half down there with David King.
Jack, fantastic performance in the end. That second half, things really clicked into gear.
Yeah, no, we knew it was going to open up in the second half. We're a fit football side, and to be honest, we haven't been playing our best footy this year, but tonight we're building on that brand and seeing what can go forward.
Damien was frustrated at half-time about the Kangaroos' uncontested mark game. What was the conversation at half-time at the main break?
Yeah, they were chipping it through us, and it's frustrating, but yeah, Dimmer gave us a red-hot crack and just said, take out the shorts and the game will be brought onto our terms, and that's what we did the second half.
Pressure lifted, the scoreboard started to float?
Yeah, definitely. Our pressure, that's what we base ourselves on, and getting the pressure around the ball and then exploiting them on the outside.
When you feel that second half, do you feel like your game's returning, the Tiger brand returning? Because it's been a little bit clunky over the last 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, definitely. The belief's still there. We know when we play our best footy, we can challenge anyone. So it's just about bringing that each week. So let's see how we can go.
Debutant looked like he had a bit of fun out there today.
Yeah, Morris, yeah, he's deserved the opportunity, and see him, you know, those chase down tackles, just getting a fingertip, that's all we asked for him. And yeah, he had a great night, snagged a goal, and could have had another one, but he kicked it out in the full.
Great work today, Jack. You actually showed the way in that second half, set the standard. Well done.
Too easy. Thanks, guys. Cheers.
He's become a leader, really, hasn't he, for Richmond? He was as a junior in South Australia. He won a premiership in his 5th game of footy, and he's now really maturing as a player.
Well, in the absence of a couple, he's had to step up, and he's been really consistent. So
I'll talk about that pick.
I think we got another consistent star. He's more than that. He's a couple-time premiership player, and he's been on Preston with King.
Got through that one, right? A little high five for the captain there. Why wouldn't you high
Here's
five
the human
captain? He
meatball.
asks. How you feeling? Got through that one pretty strong.
Yeah, it was. North Melbourne were awesome in the first half. We didn't really have any answers for them. So the way we came out in the second half, I think probably our pressure and the way we were able to move the ball probably set us up to defend them a bit better, which was probably what we had to work on at half-time. So it was good to get the result and stay alive.
You enjoyed that goal. You enjoyed bursting from centre bounce and doubling up.
Yeah, well, it was the first goal for the year, so probably had to kick one soon. So that's a strength of my game. I feel like getting contest to contest. So something I try to pride myself on, and it's good to kick a goal now and then.
Getting some feedback from the boys here, but it's great to see you out here and in good form. You've had a frustrating run with injury. Yeah, it's been a bit annoying, you know, doing the hamstring a couple of times, but I changed a few things probably over the last 2 months in terms of gym work and my probably training, just trying to get out there more consistently, and the last 2 weeks have been really good, so hopefully have about 6 weeks to go. You better get there, mate. They're going crazy out here. Good luck. Yeah. Well done. Cheers.
What an important cog he is in this Tiger midfield. There's the next 2 weeks for the Tigers.
GWS and Hawthorn. They win those two, I think they go in. I used to with what Jack Graham said, because he did ask during the call, I would have loved to be in the meeting there at halftime. What happened? He said, Dimmer gave us a red-hot crack. So I reckon he's fired the boys up, and it's amazing what a change in pressure does.
So that's the next 2 weeks, guys. So they're versing GWS next week. And after that, they'll be versing Hawthorn.
And he leads them off the ground. Part of a 33-point win. There's more footy coming your way on Fox Footy tonight. It's the Saints.
Okay, guys. Wow. GG's. A very good win. So, here is basically full-time. Richmond by 33 points. That is insane. GG's to Kangaroos and GG's to Richmond. You guys played a very good brand of footy. But here is basically the live weather right now. Richmond are 9th right now. So next week, if they defeat GWS, they will be in the top 8, and GWS will be going down toward the top 8. So it will be very interesting to see. Cannot wait. And we'll see what happens in the next 2 weeks. But St Kilda are 13th, sorry, in the ladder. They have lost 3 matches. They have lost to Port Adelaide, West Coast, and Carlton. Alright, so they are versing Sydney. They defeated Essendon. Was a close match, but could not wait. So here's what's gonna happen, guys. I will be live in about 30 minutes or so. So for this one, we are going to be streaming Sydney versus St Kilda. I'll be live in about 20 minutes. Make sure you guys go ahead and hit set reminder. I'll be live soon. I will give you guys a link right here, and I cannot wait to see what is going to happen for those both teams. So St Kilda versus Sydney, hit set reminder, drop a like, would be appreciated. And that is basically gonna be it for the stream today. And I hope you all have an amazing day, and I'll see you all in about 19 minutes or so. And yeah, hit set reminder, drop a like, subscribe to the channel, would be appreciated. And take care, talk soon, and goodbye.